Sorry folks, just doing the live announcements. We're live now, live now, live now. So, okay. God, I do not look awake. Because I'm not. Jean, come on. Time to say hi. She's a toaster underneath the camera right now. Come say hi. Come say hi to everybody. Don't be antisocial. Just because it's early. I've been sleeping like... I've slept till 2 p.m. the last 2 days. So this is exceptionally early for me right now. But I need to get back onto a regular schedule. The moment Alan begins sleepwalking and sleep builds into streams. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, baby. Yes, I picked you up. I brought you up here. Hello, Nice Cube. Welcome, welcome, folks. Okay, we're working on the Z-axis for my Voron 2.4 build today. My upgrade, rehash, rebuild Z-drive kit. That's what I'm looking for. All right, let's check second camera angle quick. That thing. I'm not going to put it up on the bench right now. I'm just going to leave it there for the moment anyway, so I can get one of the axes off and we'll build it on the bench. And let's check instructions. Instructions. Cool. Joe Show, welcome in. One day you'll wake up and be like, where the hell did the switch wire come from? I've been so tempted by West 3D's $399 switch wire kits, and I previously had zero desire to build a switch wire. But like, it's cheap. All right, so this is what we're building, our Z-axis drives. I wasn't intending to do these at all. I was gonna leave the printed parts as I never had any problem with my Z-axis, but somebody expressed interest in seeing in seeing like the upgrade, this portion of it. And I was like, okay, I'm going this far. I might as well do the whole upgrade, right? Why is that machine not printing? Tried to send a print to the Prusa and it keeps fighting me. It's just like stalled sending this file. I don't know why. I don't know why, but finally recovered from Smurf Happy. No, I haven't. My sleep schedule is all messed up this year. So no, I haven't. They haven't, KB3D and West 3D have insane deals on the switch wire. Should I? I don't know. I've never had any desire to build a switch wire. Like, it needs to be enclosed. An enclosure in a bed slinger is kind of silly. Hendrik, welcome in. Welcome in. Hi, kiddo. Could you stop rubbing on my microphone, please? It's the one problem with, well, one of many problems with a lavalier microphone is the cat. Hi, baby girl. I know, I put you up here. I did. Don't chom my fingers. They're not treats. They're fingers. Chom, chom, chom. Stupid. Silly. I don't know. Like, Vorons, ABS, ASA printers, you know? And... Oh, is that with the enclosure? The $399 kits are with the enclosure? That's a different story. Ah, cat. Okay, let me check. Let's check. West 3D. Switch wire. You're weird. Oh, it's with the enclosure. Okay. That is a really good deal. Dropping it in the chat for anybody who hasn't seen. Affiliate link, of course. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Oh, they have gray frames, they have orange frames, they have red frame, and black. Tempted to get one specifically to replace the A1 since you don't use it. That makes sense. Nighthawk toolboard. Input shaper tools, smart tool, small tools. Doesn't say anything about enclosure specifically. The pictures show enclosure, but hard to say. Meh. Hi. Anyway, I'm not going to do it, but I have way too many projects on my plate. I'd like to. I certainly like to. But it's not happening. Not happening. Okay. Anyway, working on the... Please configure both primary and backup streams correctly. YouTube's yelling me something about streaming, but seems to be good on my end. I don't know. We'll see. Personally hate the enclosure design on the switch wire. I don't blame you. Bed slingers, too much VHP. Bed slingers just aren't really meant to be enclosed, and enclosing one in an efficient way is just not easy. All right, onward we go. Since last stream, might as well open up Fusion. Since last stream on this, which is only a couple days ago, I worked on some new skirts for the front because I'm going to be installing a clicky-clack door on the Voron 2.4, which if anybody's not familiar, it's a 2020 extrusion door, so it's a single piece of acrylic for the front door glass. And it also uses a seal around the front door, so you get a better seal on the front of the machine to keep heat in. And it's got a clicky, like latch mechanism inspired by an old school fridge, so they call it clicky clack fridge door often. But because it extends 20 millimeters off the front of the machine, because it's a 2020 extrusion frame for the door, your skirts are now recessed with the default skirts. So there's a remix available, or not a remix, yeah, I guess a remix, whatever. There is a skirt set available that protrudes out the front to be even with clicky-clack door and just look a little bit more correct. I, of course, then spent way too long this weekend remixing those parts and making them my own, because there was a few things I just didn't like about them. So I guess we might as well take a look at them real quick. My remix. Bright light incoming. Is this the LDO kit? The LDO kit for clicky clack? I'm going to be using the LDO kit for clicky clack, but yes. But if you're referring to the switch wire, that is also the LDO kit that we were talking about. Bloop, screen share, hello. So here is the front skirt design. It's much more like the Trident. It's based off of Trident skirts. So I remixed it. I added a USB port bulkhead or keystone connection in here because I like having a front panel USB port. It allows me to connect a camera for time lapses, or yeah, I can use it to reprogram a tool head with a short cable from the front of the machine without having to flip up the machine or anything and plug it into the tool board to update firmware. So I like that. I also remixed my own this front skirt that's available on printables comes with a 5-inch screen mount. I don't run a 5-inch screen, and I don't think the 5-inch screen fits it very well. It's a little too big. So it also has to be at like a really steep angle so it doesn't interfere with the door. So I remixed my own 4.3-inch screen mount, which is a remix of somebody else's, by the way. But I remixed my own. I extended it 20 millimeters forward and made it fit this design. Hi. I also closed in all the holes on the front. All of them are closed in. They're all, the ones that are different colors are different layer heights. So I could just do layer height changes for color and get the color effect I wanted. That's the, oh, and the bottom panel. The design that's available on printables has zero provision for the bottom panel. And if you're not familiar, the bottom panel in a Voron 2.4 screws to the front skirts, both to add rigidity to the front skirts, but also to add rigidity to the bottom panel. And so I made these extension pieces that extend the bottom panel 20 millimeters forward, and then I'll hide this body quick and you can see it. Boop. And I put in a heat press insert provision so those can be screwed in. I don't know if I'll be releasing this design or not, but yeah. Oh, rescale the screen, sorry. I can't see chat when I'm doing this. We've seen nothing you've shown. Lovely. Okay, why is that happening? Sorry. That's a great way to start a Sunday stream. Fit the screen. Now you'll actually see what I'm talking about. Lovely. Okay, anyway, here's the skirt, sorry. Here's the front skirt design. It's available on printables, the version I remixed off of. I haven't released this one as I haven't used it yet to remix. There's the USB port I added, closed in all the front holes. I did this because I like closing in the front and the back skirts on a Voron to promote cross flow through the electronics box. I don't think the front holes on the Voron skirt should be open, personally. I think they should be closed to promote flow across the electronics box. Personal opinion, whatever. So closed in those holes. I remixed the front screen, my 4.3 inch touchscreen from Big Tree Tech Pi TFT 43. Remixed that to fit this and the bottom panel extensions. So now that I just recovered everything you couldn't see a minute ago, let's get back. Ay. Good morning, Steve. Welcome in. Window too small. Yeah, sorry. So no stealth skirts, Jake. Not stealth skirts. It's more of just like a remix of the basic Trident skirts. I could do stealth skirt-ish with this, so maybe that's something I should look at in the future. I don't know. I already have stealth skirts on my Trident build that we're gonna get back to real soon, hopefully. I need to get this build done so we can get back to the Trident. So once this is done, we'll be back to the Trident. Yeah, I'm gonna get the switch wire. All right. You talked yourself into it, or we all talked you into it. So, all right, let's get to doing this. Where am I? Gene Bean, are you erroring out? Excuse me, ma'am. Hi. Howdy, everyone. Welcome, Dented Printer. Okay, let's get this. We're gonna get the old foot off of there. We're gonna get the old foot off of there so we can disassemble it on the bench and do the swap over we need to do. So, there's my screwdriver. Oh, what the heck? Ah, there it is. Screwdriver. So, I don't feel like pulling this up onto the bench at this moment, so I'm just gonna do this right here. At least, you know, take this apart right here. Did you end up doing the Voron build with the chamber heater? That's not, I haven't touched that one yet. That's the next 2.4 build. So I haven't had any time for that build yet. It's not, it's still happening. Just hasn't happened yet. Still happening, just hasn't happened yet. Gene, are you helping? You helping block the camera? Star of the show. So I got to pull this corner off. I've already done the other 3 corners I did last night. I did the other 3 corners last night, so I knew what I was in for. And just because I didn't want to do all 4 corners on stream because I felt like it would be boring. So I left one of them to be done on stream. A build of the toasted marshmallow variety. Yes, toasted marshmallow. That build is going to be an all-around high temp build. I've talked about it a little bit here and there. I still feel like bed fans will get all the temp you need much easier. Well, what I was about to say is that's going to be an insulated chamber build, and the goal is 90 plus C. So no, bed fans will not get me there. It's going to be running high temp hot end, a higher temperature bed. The goal is it to be a peak printer, my only peak printer. So no, bed fans will not get me there. I'm putting bed fans in this build to up the chamber temp. So for day-to-day ABS and ASA printing, that I totally agree. Bed fans are perfectly fine. You don't need a heated chamber. I printed a lot of ASA in this Voron 2.4 without issue, but I'm looking to go to higher temperature materials with the heated chamber build. So that's a different story. No plastic in the chamber on that one. Nope, no plastic in the chamber. There will be no plastic in the chamber. The initial build will have plastic in the chamber, but it will get rebuilt with the only thing that'll be not plastic will be, the only plastic will be the tool head that I'm gonna run initially. I've got the Bondtech Stealth Burner. So the Bondtech set up with the Magnum Plus hot end and EBB toolboard, but I'm just gonna build it with that initially and then take it out and swap it to a tube with my own probably design of toolhead, I think. That I will probably try and CNC machine myself on the Milo. So that I'll probably try and design up my own tool head that I will try and machine myself on the Milo to accept a tube, water cooled. Motors are getting water cooled. Yeah, whatever. It's going to be all CNC aluminum when it's all said and done, ish. Okay, that will be cool. Yeah, thank you. So, we'll see. We'll see. Tube, as Nero says. Yeah. Okay. Hygiene. So here's what we're rebuilding. It's our corner, our Z-axis corner. Let me move the second angle now that we're not working over there. All right. So here's what we're rebuilding. Our Z-axis corner, which, looking at this is like a warped piece of ASA, I believe. Looks like crap. I printed these printed parts for this build forever ago on my Mark III, my Prusa Mark III, without an enclosure. No enclosure, not even a cardboard box enclosure, just running a space heater next to the printer is how I printed these parts. And they look like it. So, tear this down. We need to, for the only one seeing point of those Z motor mounts. Am I the only one not seeing the point of those Z motor mounts? I don't know what you're asking. What do you mean you don't see the point? Do you not see the point in them being CNC aluminum or the design in general, the Voron 2.4 design? I need clarification on what doesn't make sense to you. Missed your last stream, but it was great to see you at Smurf. Thank you, Vinny. Yeah, last stream was a late one, so it would have been very late for you. Creality direct drive is slapped in my Ender 3 Pro. Can't work when I close my enclosure. It gunks up, getting too hot. I need to add some ventilation, I think. That's very likely. Them being out of aluminum. Bling. There's an argument to be made that they might be ever so slightly more rigid for slightly better Z-axis movement, especially faster Z-axis movements. Reality of the situation is I had no intention of replacing these. I fully intended to keep the printed parts and not bother. I'm only doing it because I have the parts, for one, because I kind of agree. I don't see a big difference here. I I kind of agree. I don't really see a big difference between this printed part and the CNC aluminum one. What I do see a difference with is there's a CNC aluminum mount for the motor that replaces this end of the equation. Hit the button. Replaces this end of the equation. And that can have a heat sinking effect. So you might be able to run ever so slightly more amperage and sink away some of the heat into the frame. Bling is a good point. Yeah, bling is a good point. As much as anything, I'm doing it because somebody in my Discord said that I forget who offhand, that they felt that it helped their machine and they wanted to see me do it. I had the parts. I'm at this stage. It's one of those now's the time to do it things, so I'm just going to do it. If you can swap it and you have the parts, you should. I mean, it's kind of where I'm at. Somebody mentioned Mr. Tiberium. I do like the G2Z, but I don't know how they'd work on a larger printer. They won't. G2Z, basic G2Z, is not intended to be used. Basic G2Z is not intended to be used with a with a larger gantry like the Voron 2.4. There is G2Z XL, which is intended to be used with a Voron 2.4. So G2Z XL does exist. It's really, really, really flown under the radar. It's very unknown for some reason. Well, I think because it's never fully officially been released. I think it's still technically in beta. Daredockel, welcome. I think technically it's still in beta, but yeah. After destroying the Revo Voron nozzle and heatsink, I'm looking hard at tube. Oh, that's a heck of a change. Yeah, there is, if you look on the G2Z GitHub, there is a G2Z XL. I'm pretty sure CAD isn't in there, so I think it's still in beta. But it's basically, it's G2Z that uses NEMA 17 motors, which is intended for these bigger setups. So we need, for this setup, we need our big pulley. We need our big pulley, our little pulley, and our shaft, and one of the bearings on here. The other two bearings from this kit are not used. The Big Tree Tech CNC parts use flanged bearings for the other two bearings that came with the CNC kit. What? What's going on? At this point, if there's no kit for it, it'll be under the radar. There is a kit. That's the funny part. Kits are available. I'm fairly sure. Let me jump over to West 3D real quick. I know. Pretty sure West 3D has them. G2Z. Yep. 1 second. Instructions. G2Z. So if you go to like West 3D's Galileo listing, they got G2E, G2Z, and G2Z XL. It's $3 more because it comes with a NEMA 17, but like they don't even have a picture of it. Like all the pictures are of the basic G2Z, not the G2Z XL. So like it's weird in that respect. Let's jump to the GitHub real quick. Yeah, it uses NEMA 17, which are considered larger and provide more holding torque. Go to G2Z. Yeah, see, like, yeah, G2Z and G2Z XL are currently release status. G2SA is still, well, if it's in release status, where's the CAD? Is CAD in here? Unless it's both CAD files in one. All right, I'm just going to reiterate my statement that I despise closed betas. I don't think they should be a thing. And yeah, okay. I don't know. The files are there. I don't know where the CAD files are, but I don't see them unless they're within the same G2Z CAD file. Don't know, but I know, right? Hello, Maurice. Just announced all U.S. retailers have $100 off positrons. Cool. $100 off positrons from all U.S. retailers. Cool, cool, cool. What's the spray bottle for? It's alcohol. She heard cat file. Yeah, this is IPA. I keep IPA in that for cleaning parts. You having a staring contest with the spray bottle? She hates that spray bottle, which is so strange because I don't think I have ever sprayed her with water, ever. Like, she's just a well-behaved cat. I've never needed to. Shannon, welcome. Why is this not coming off of here? This pulley is like stuck on here. We never found closed betas useful. It's just confusing and we're better off testing internally most of the time. That's what I mean. Like, I don't mind a closed beta if you're in testing internally and not releasing anything other than maybe a teaser, like this is coming. Cool. But if you're releasing STL files, you should be releasing CAD files. That's it. That's it. Like, I don't think in this community it makes any sense to just release STLs and be like, oh, well, we're working on the designs in the background. Because like 9 times out of 10, it's like a year of waiting around. And I'm like, why would I want to run your files if I can't do anything else with them? Unpopular opinion. Sorry, baby girl. Like, I totally get developing and not wanting people to have their, to mess with your files and such in development. Totally get it. But like, just don't release them at all then. That's my thought. Ugh. Look at this kit. We are CNC stealth burner away from full metal Voron. I mean, yeah, but then why wait? Will there be available with? Will there be a video on the complete VCore 4? Yes, there will be. There will be a video on the complete VCore 4. I'd hope to get it done before Smurf, and I just didn't have any time. But it will be coming, yes. I don't know why this bearing is really stuck on the shaft. You want to get your tail smacked? It's about to happen. I don't know why this bearing is so stuck on the shaft, but it is. Slacker, yeah. I know, you don't like it. Bye, Bean. Gene Bean, please don't take a camera with you. Why is that stuck on there like that? This should not be a press fit. Jesus. I don't know what's going on with this. This is very strange. I'm just going to ruin this bearing, I think. Let's get it off of here. Okay. I don't know what the heck was up with that. Screw that bearing. I'm going to clean this off real quick. Bye-bye, kitty. We love you. She knows. She knows she is adored. When the hole is 5mm and the rod is 5mm. Well, but I rebuilt the other 3 of these last night, and all 3 of them were not like that. So I redid 3 out of 4 of these, and they weren't like that. This one is. Nuno, welcome in. So that's where I'm like confused. The other 3 slipped in and out just like they should. It's like, it's not a press fit. It's not 5mm, 5mm. It's more like 4.9mm, 5mm. Which in a machined surface should. Closed beta would imply to me a fixed set of invited testers, because you don't want inexperienced people to fuck around and find out, complain to you in the first place. Publishing STL seems to run counter to that. Yeah, bent shaft. That's not a bad thought. Let me roll it quick. Well, I can't because there's a D flat. Straight edge. It's not quite a straight edge, but oh yeah, it's ever so slightly bent. Yep, It's either ever so slightly bent or whatever. That's the only one I got. So, gotta use it. All right. Let's look at the instructions. Publishing STL seems to run counter to that. Yeah, I think calling it closed beta is the wrong statement. Closed beta would really be like you described. It's where only select group of people have access at all. Which, that I get, 100%. I don't get what has become so popular as of late, like, no offense to anybody, but like Armchair's done it a bunch lately, Voron team has done it a bunch lately. This whole release the STLs for something, not release the CAD, because you don't want people messing with it, but you want their input. But like, what are you guys talking about? We were talking about G2Z came up, G2Z XL came up for like the bigger machines, early alpha release. I mean, I guess it could be called a beta release or whatever. Well, it is a beta release, but I just went on a little rant about how I don't like these betas where people release the STLs for a project, but not the CAD files as I launch that pulley. I fully understand why people do it, but I don't agree with it. That's all that it comes down to. Technically, Galileo is not Voron. I agree, STLs and STEP should go hand in hand. Steve, Stealth Burner. I was referring to Stealth Burner. The Stealth Burner release was that way. But I do know, I realize Jared is not technically, it is not an official thing. Wasn't Stealth Burner that way? I still agree. Fair. Yeah. Like, whatever. Do what you want to do with your own project. Like, I get it. I have a dozen designs that I know people would like to have access to, but I've just never released at all. I didn't clarify what I meant by that, Steve. So no, you don't need to apologize. But I was referring to Stealth Burner when it came to the Voron team. I remember that one being an annoyance because when I was first building this machine, this Voron 2.4, it was right when Stealth Burner was launching, and I was like, oh yeah, I really want to run Stealth Burner. I don't want to run Afterburner. And then I couldn't get all the files I wanted, and blah blah blah. So. What was I thinking? Anyway, rant over. I don't know why I'm going in a circle. I'm just tired. Talking to the wall. Talking to myself. Gene went away. What else am I going to do? Gene went away. What else am I going to do? Okay. So the pulley on this sets at a different point. What about prints we release on Thingiverse, Cults, Thangs? It makes sense to just provide STLs for those, right? I'm talking about open source projects. So like Voron 3D printers and anything you consider to be an open source project, that's what I'm talking about. Not like here's this shelf bracket I made. Now, personally, I like to see step files for everything, but I also don't release them for everything on my own. The only things I really don't release step files for, I release step files for almost everything I design. The only things I don't are my newer premium models, which are like sculpted, because step files aren't going to do you a damn thing on a sculpt. So I wish everyone included step files when they share stuff. Yeah. I mean, like if you're making parts for a Voron, you should, by license, be releasing at least step files. If you allow remixing and like the idea of remixing, then also include step files, else it gives a non-remix. Yeah, totally, agree. If you allow remixing, release the step files. Like, just do it. Especially, I know on Thangs, it's part of how I get a better look. If you go on Thangs, you can see renders of models, like, colored and stuff, and that's through the step file that I do that. A little hard to explain, but, okay. Pulley is in a different location in this configuration. So we put this they say 6 to 6.5 millimeter. So I split the difference and put it at 6.25 millimeter from the end of the shaft. So That's that. Here's our CNC aluminum housing here. It's not like my files are super amazing. I may as well drop everything with them. I will from now on. Look, I'm not telling you what to do, but I personally highly appreciate it when folks do that. Because there are a lot of folks who, like, there are some excellent designs out there that, yeah, maybe the designer's not the best designer, but they had a great idea. And I would love to build off of what they did and their idea, but they don't release a step file. So it's like way too much effort for me to do so. So I just end up designing my own. And like, if they release a step file and I could build upon their work, they would get credit for it. But if they just had the idea, didn't release a step file, well, then they might not get the credit for it when I redo the whole thing. I Frankensteined a bunch of can board mounts together in Slicer today because they had no step files available and one had a cropped STL on printables. Lovely. Lovely. Like, it happens. I understand. Like, you know, this is my job. So it's easy for me to say to do all these things when it's not something I'm just doing an hour a night after my day job. I totally get that. I'm privileged to come from the position I do. So like, Jose, welcome in. Daniel, welcome in as well. I try not to lose sight of that. So it's just frustrating when I'm in the middle of a project. I'm like, wow, you had a really good idea. But you know, it creates this weird situation where I can't credit you, or I might credit you with the idea, but like, I'm not even going to bother linking to your design because I didn't use any of it or whatever. For sure, all the can board mounts I see are STL only. I have to hack them up in Tinkercad. Lovely. That's annoying. Super valid. Dropping knowledge bombs. We have 90 plus viewers and 12 likes. You know what to do. Thank you. I never remember to do that promotion stuff. Man, an hour after a day job, I get burned out after 30 minutes. Yeah. I'm thinking back to when I had a day job and I still did like 4 hours a night on YouTube, and I don't remember how the hell I did it. Okay, so the one bearing that we reuse, on these instructions, anything that's red, anything that's highlighted in red is not included with the CNC parts. The stuff in blue comes with the CNC parts. So the red is one of the existing bearings from my previous stack. Now, next page. In the next page, we will slide this in through the bearing. And, oh gosh, that thing is tight fit. Oh yeah, here's a fun thing I found too. Now that I've done 3 of these, this is probably down to my parts, but the flange, it's a little hard to see, but the flange on this pulley is exactly the same size as the inner diameter of the bore going through here. So I've got to tap this through with a hammer. Not ideal, but it's how it is. Hitting the bottom pulley. Boom. Okay. Stop. Hammer time. Ha 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 ha. I see what you did there. Okay. That's started into the bottom pulley. Where's that socket I just had? That's the reason I had the socket here. So I could tap the pulley itself. Because if I tap the shaft, I'll drive the shaft through. I gotta tap the pulley. What did I just do with that socket? Oh, it's right here. Yay. Yeah, the flange on my pulleys, put the pulley in and slide the shaft through. The pulley needs to be set at a specific length. The pulley needs to be set at a specific 6.2 whatever millimeter from the end of the shaft. So getting that precise, doing like putting it all together inside of here, no point to that. What are the advantages of having a belted Z over lead screw? Give, compliance. The advantage of a belted Z over a lead screw is faster, less VFA. Yeah. So faster, so yes. So you're always going to be, however fast, you're direct driving a lead screw. So most of the time, some do use gear reduction, but you're running direct drive. So you're spinning your motor a certain speed, and that's how fast your shafts will spin to move your Z-axis. A belted system using gear reduction can change how that works for quicker Z-hop or quicker Z movement. You also have a bit of give and compliance, just like we do with belts on our X and Y axes, where you'll often see Z wobble on a lead screw. Also, it looks cool, yeah. On a lead screw Z-axis, you will see sometimes artifacts, like if your lead screws are wobbling, they can cause the whole Z-axis to wiggle ever so slightly, even within the constraints of the rails. And that can show up as artifacts on the surface of your print. Your extrusion, your XY axis can be perfect, and you can still have that because of a lead screw causing a little bit of wobble in your Z-axis movement. So a belted system removes some of that because the belt has some compliance, it has some give. Any inconsistency in one belt can be taken up by another, and the stretch of a belt can like compensate for that a little bit. Is a belted Z better than the lead screw one on a Trident? Better is subjective. If you're not having Z wobble, not necessarily. The speed thing, for the most part, really doesn't matter. How fast do our Z-axis really need to move? Z-hop is the only time we're really needing quick Z movements. And even then, unless you're doing really small prints, probably doesn't matter. Z speed would matter for folks doing tool changers who need to go up, grab a tool head, come back down. Like, that matters. But belted Z is not necessarily better. It's just a different take. Yeah. So. Okay, this goes in here. Yeah, not if you don't have an Z wobble issue. There you go. Anyone in the comments added a second Z-axis on an Ender 3. I think that's the next thing I need to make my prints better. When my printer is working. I'm not a huge fan of secondary Z-axis, second Z motor on Ender 3s personally, because unless you're running independent stepper drivers, there can be inconsistency between the two, create actual additional issues. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't really see much of a point. My Ender 3 only ever had a single Z motor, and it was fine. All right, a flange bearing goes in the end of here. So it gets a flange bearing, and then it gets a couple of button heads that just hold that in. Yeah, the only issues I ever had with Z-axis on an Ender 3 is sag. And sag can be compensated for without a second Z-axis motor. Just properly setting the Z, like preloading the roller wheels on the Z-axis can compensate for that. That's what I did. I'm taking with independent steppers and drivers. Okay, well then, yeah, independent steppers, I can see a difference there, sure. Okay, now other side, we get a 1mm thick shim on here, which the instructions show that shims come with this, but I don't see any shims in my kit, unless I'm missing them, which I might be. Yep, looks like there's something else in the bag here. Shims. Okay, so it did come with shims. I'm just reusing the ones I already had. But Now, flanged bearing on this side too. And then to set our pulley position on this thing, well, there's also a trim piece that goes on here with some countersunk screws that holds this side in. Sorry, this is kind of hard to see, I think, because it's all freaking black. It's all black because I had Big Tree Tech make a custom all black kit for me because I didn't want red CNC parts on my build, but I wanted to do CNC parts. But it makes it a little hard to see. Okay, so to set our pulley positions, you're not going to be able to see this, but there's a 1mm shim at this side and a 1mm shim at this side. What we do is just pull both pulleys outward and against those shims. And that's how you set the Z-axis pulley locations on this project, on this particular application. So pull the pulleys outward up against those shims, butt them against there, and tighten. Because you're special. Gee, thank you. I mean, I was trying to get them to just make different colors. Like, give us options. You know, customizing a Voron is like a big deal. And only having red and black CNC parts, I feel like really hurts the market on buying CNC parts. Like, yeah, you can strip them and paint them or whatever, but like, when you're spending hundreds of dollars on CNC parts, who wants to do that? So at least all black will fit a lot better. Independent stepper per axis always causes some issues. It's a bigger deal. It's a big deal for industrial stuff. That's why you always have to calibrate each motor individually. Totally understandable, and I do agree that you realistically, we should probably be tuning individual motors on everything. A lot more than we really do. I feel like all black would sell better than red and black. I agree with that. I do agree with that. And it's kind of where I was like, when I was talking to Big Tree Tech, I was like, please do. I was hoping they would start doing it. I think they did. Maybe they have since I got this kit. I don't know. But yes, Jake, I realize that is actually a problem. So like it's just out of frame, but my Mercury 1 over here has dual Z-axis motors. And from print to print, it will cock the bed a little bit, ever so slightly. 3D printers aren't remotely accurate enough to go through such steps. I get your point with that, Nuno. But there's an argument of, because the 3D printer isn't very accurate, we shouldn't bother going through these fine adjustment steps. Or, because the 3D printer isn't very accurate, shouldn't we do everything we can to give it a better baseline to work off of? You know, the same argument you're making that we shouldn't bother is the same reason I could make an argument we should. You know, if you're only ever going to be so accurate, having a better baseline to start from is only going to help. So, I don't know. Like, I fully understand. There are plenty of people who I talk to who do beautiful work, beautiful stuff, and don't do half of the adjustments that I do on machines or tuning. And yeah, I guess that is part of the calibration. It can be part of the calibration. I've done it before. Like the Mercury 1, I have independently tuned steps on the Z-axis motors before. I think back when it was still on Marlin, I did that, where I like tried to ensure that both Z-axis motors were moving at a similar rate, and I did find some slight variation between the two. Okay, we got our first portion of this together. Now it's time for the Z motor mount. I don't know. There's so many arguments to all of this stuff that are valid, of like wasting your time versus just printing, or I don't know. There's also the ever-present, like I literally posted a TikTok about it last night where somebody recently asked me for some advice about, oh, I really like what you do with this. Like, what do you, dang it, I just took that mount off there and I forget which orientation it was in. They're like, oh, I really like this work that you do. Like, what do you have for advice about this? And I'm like, oh, well, I do this. They're like, oh, that's way too much work. I'm not doing that. Wasting your time is literally the point of the hobby. Fair. Yeah, they were like, oh, I really like your work. You know, what do you do with XYZ? And I was like, well, I do this. And they're like, oh, that's way too much time. I'm not doing that. I'm like, well, that's the stuff that makes my work better. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I most commonly get it with filament. And this is the one that I don't agree that there's any other way to do it. Where people are like, I say something about tuning in filaments. People are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, every new filament I get from a new brand, a different material type, sometimes even between colors, I will tune that material in. Temperature, pressure advance, flow rate, you know, extrusion multiplier, and then do an accuracy check on every single one of them. So yeah, I'll waste 100 grams of material off of a spool tuning in a new material. But then I get better quality prints because of it. And people are like, oh, well, I waste too much material. I'm not going to do that. Well, bad quality prints waste more material. So do you want good quality prints or do you not? I don't know. Having a few more microns of accuracy won't serve you much when you're using print with 0.2 and 0.4 millimeter layers. Understandable. Oh my God, he actually picks materials in his slicer. Yeah, I do that with material too. Nuno. Very valid, other than I design to those tolerances. So like if I'm designing to a specific tolerance, don't I want to hit that tolerance? But then we also have material shrinkage affecting things. So like you can design to a specific tolerance, you can tune your machine in, and then your material shrinks. So yeah. I gotta check which motor position this needs to be in. So I forget. This way. Okay. Ugh. Ignorance is bliss, Mandic. Some people can't see differences of good quality and perfect. Fair. And you know what? That last 10% is often 50% of the work, or you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot to that. I'm too lazy to tune each roll. I just say it's PLA, it's going to print like PLA. Oh God, PLA varies so much. From protopasta to polymaker to frickin' Prushiment to, oh God, they all vary so much. But y'all would have a heyday making fun of my work method, test nothing, and wonder why things turn out like shite. Hey, whatever works for you. If you have fun doing what you're doing, keep on doing what you're doing. Who cares? Like, don't let me, I'm not trying to talk down on anybody. The only time I care is when people ask me for advice and then to my face tell me they're not going to take my advice. Only time I care. Like, if you come to me and you say, wow, how do you get such good quality prints? And I tell you that I do this tuning and you're like, I'm not doing that. Don't be surprised when your work turns out lesser. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's that. And if you're fine with that, cool. True, untuned print waste time. Print waste time as well. You can spend months designing something around an over-under extrusion, then spend a week fixing it. Yeah. I'm not going to tune resin shrinkage on my positron. Well, Vinny, that's actually a valid point too. For me as a designer, something I've had to deal with is like my can cups. My can cups have a very specific fit to the can. And I'll constantly get people who are like, oh, the can fits too tight or the can fits too loose. What am I doing wrong? And it's like, it's most likely over or under extrusion on your machine. I can't design for that. I can only design based on my tuned machine. And I try my best to find a middle ground that works in there for everybody, but I'm never gonna hit everything because some people's machines are just so out of whack. That's all there is to it. I can't compensate for that. So, okay, super simple. Our motor mount is just an aluminum version of the plastic one. It's almost a 1-to-1. And there goes our plastic one. Now we got an aluminum mount for our motor. All right, time to get this all mounted back on the machine. I can't fix stupid. I didn't say that. You did. I'm not disagreeing, but I didn't say that. Okay. There's a couple of shorter screws that go in here to attach this to the frame. Reuses these. A lot of people have trouble with the belt clamps because they over extrude. That's a common problem on various parts. I'm gonna move the camera again. Back to the machine. All right, let's put this on here. We learned with V2 that's why we oversize a lot of the features and use specific undersizing in some to make sure things line up properly. Fair? You didn't say that, you implied it. I didn't mean to imply it, but here we are. It's not that people are stupid, it's that people either have their own opinions and or are lazy. And or just don't have the time to obsess about things. Like, I can't really judge that. All right, so this goes on here, onto the original T-nuts. But it becomes my problem sometimes when, you know, I design something and people are like, well, why doesn't mine turn out like yours? I was like, well, because you're not putting in the effort that I did. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Worked for me. I printed a bunch of them. All right, this mounts to here, back to the same slide-in T-nuts, or roll-ins. All right, and then our motor mount goes on the front of that. With a little lever for tightening. Where's our M5 by 10s? There they are. This mounts with M5 by 10s. People expect perfection without putting in the work. Accurate. They expect that if my design is such, you know, created in such a way that it should just come perfect, I guess. I don't know. And that's a lot of what I think has really driven the rise of like Bamboo is their profiles and such. A lot of people didn't have experience with, say, Prusa profiles before and how good they are to realize that, like, a lot of the problem with their Ender 3 or whatever they had before was poor quality profiles. Like, they didn't know or understand that was what was happening. It's like, oh, this thing prints like crap. Well, no, you never tuned in a profile on the damn thing, so it printed like crap. Sure, my Ender 3 printed beautifully. It took a lot of time to get it there, but it did. And then I go to a Bamboo, and it's like, well, yeah, it prints well because it's got good profiles. And good hardware. Also, who needs to tune things? Bamboo. It's a lot of what I like about Prusa. Bamboo's profiles aren't that good, IMO. I do agree with that, Nuno. I heavily agree with that. I think Bamboo's profiles are kind of garbage, but they're a lot better than a basic Ender 3 profile. You know? So, like, comparatively, compared to a Prusa profile, Bamboo profiles are garbage. But yeah, print your designs before you publish them. God damn it. Not you specifically, Mandic. Oh, absolutely, Jake. No, I 1000% agree. So many people just like, nothing drives me as nuts as when I'm downloading an STL and I see in the description of the file, never printed it, you know, Like, what? Prusa profiles are the bar. 1000% agree. You should have, I have told numerous companies this, tune profiles. Tune profiles. It's not that hard. Hire an intern at minimum wage, put them in front of a printer with a bunch of filament and send them to, let them go and get them to tune in a bunch of profiles. So when you release your printer on day one, it has more than just 0.2 millimeter layer height where all of the speeds are 200 millimeters a second. If I open up a slicer and I see that all the speeds on your profile are 300 millimeters a second, I know you did zero tuning. None. You threw some numbers into a slicer and said, go. Hey Chad, I'm applying for intern positions to test your printers and filaments. There you go. People are willing to do the work. I don't know. I'd love to talk. I've never really talked to Prusa about like that whole philosophy of like tuning profiles and what they do and how do they have like a dedicated person tuning filaments and stuff? They have to. All right. At a minimum, have complete profiles for at least one brand of filament. Agreed? Even if it's your own brand of filament. If you have your own brand of filament, you should have your own complete set of... So many companies don't have even their own filament line for their machines. I'm like, come on. Bamboo want to sell their own filaments, so they're not concerned about improving the competition's filaments. Agreed, and that's fine. I don't blame them on the filament side of things. I'm saying their profiles on the like layer heights and speed, like they're not very good. They're just not. They're okay. They're like 0.2 millimeter layer height one is the most tuned. Every other one they have is like kind of tuned. It's really not great. Idea, yeah. Okay, so Z-axis together as far as those motors are concerned. So I got to get the machine up here so we can put the rest of the Z-axis in and we can get the gantry in. All right. A whole bunch of old parts that are no longer in use. The nozzles need tuning 100%, 0.2 and 0.6. Yeah, the only thing that Bamboo has tuned is 0.4 millimeter nozzles. Their 0.2, 0.6, 0.8 millimeter nozzle profiles are clearly phoned in. Yeah, not good. Yeah, not good. Last I checked anyway, which has been quite some time. But yeah. They were very evident when you open it up and the extrusion widths are all 0.6 or 0.65 or whatever, and like all of that. Clear some space here. Oh, foot. There's a footy I gotta put on. 1 foot missing. No, 2 feet missing. Where's the other foot? Oh, there it is. I just like if you don't know what I'm talking about or like why I'm ranting about it, open up Prusa Slicer today, like the current 2.9 beta version, load up a Mark IV-S and just look at all the profiles that exist. Like there's a structural, there's a speed. It's such a well-defined ecosystem. And don't get me wrong, I still tune off of those for my own personal taste, but like, they're still a really good baseline, like a better baseline than anybody else. I've told numerous companies, like, just look at what Prusa is doing and copy it. But Prusa are slow, that's the point. Quality over speed. Yeah. And lately, I mostly use them. Speaking of the Bamboo, dual extruder is interesting to me, like a dual clutch trans. I can see the potential. We'll see if that's even real. I think that's probably a like one thing they were developing and got leaked thing. I don't expect that that's what their next machine is going to be. I don't really think that's what the next machine is going to be. If it is, they're raving about like, oh, we're going to do something that nobody's ever done before, is very misplaced because that has absolutely been done before. So we'll see. We shall see. Because switching hot end has absolutely been done. All right. Okay, what am I sitting on? Printed parts. Current Prussias aren't even slow. Yeah. The Bamboo X and P series advertise 20,000 acceleration, and their profiles only have 10K max. That's a good point. That's a very accurate point. None of their profiles go to 20K. I think maybe 15K on some, like travel moves or something, but yeah. Okay. These feet push, I think these new feet put the machine just ever so slightly squatter to the table. But, okay. Next up, we got to do, I should really lubricate these while I got this apart. I'm going to clean them real quick, the linear rails. Am I frozen? Why does it seem like I'm frozen? What the heck? Yeah, the stream froze. I don't know why. Can you all hear me? Audio's fine. Okay. I'm going to unplug and replug in my switcher real quick. Ugh. Try switching scenes. Nope. Oh, what the hell? There we go. Some reason my switcher just kind of dropped out. Like, it must have been when I bumped the table, dropping this onto it. So, okay, just had to reset the switcher. Cool. All right, I'm gonna clean the linear rails a little bit while we're here. While I can. I really need to lubricate these rails, but I don't really want to take them off to do so. The weird thing that is the X1 P1 movement system can do much more than the profiles are tuned for. From the factory, they are extremely flow rate limited. They are, but they also spray WD-40 in the general direction. Yeah, you're right. They are very flow rate limited, but also their stock hot end is just not a very high flow hot end. It's okay, and it does flow better than their profiles give it credit for. Let me try and move this. Yeah, I've absolutely tested their hot end to flow like 5 to 10 millimeters cubed per second more than they have them tuned to, which is weird and annoying. But then something like in mine, I run the E3D, in my Bamboo, I run the E3D Obsidian high flow hot end. That thing unlocked that machine, you know, legitimately, I was able to attain 60% higher flow rates, which really let that machine fly. I don't print that fast most of the time, but I can when I need to. All right. Clean this up a little bit. It's a little messy. Where are the grease ports on these? There's one. I don't really have a needle that's going to get in there. Waiting on the new Fadus conch to arrive. I've heard good things about the conches. I have a couple of them. I haven't tested them yet. I have heard good things about the conch being a little bit higher flow. Switched mine over to the Revo with Revo High Flow, and it was a serious upgrade. And even the Revo High Flow ain't that high flow. Yeah, it's still better than the stock hot end. And if you really need to push the filament, E3D has a 0.6 high flow. Yep. I do intend, I've been intending for a while to do a roundup of hot ends on a Bamboo machine. I'll probably do it on the wife's P1S. My Obsidian clogged at the moment. That sucks. I'm just waiting on, I've got like, I got like 5 different hot ends. No, 6 different hot ends for the P1. List off all the hot ends you know for the P1 and X1. Let me know. Because I want to do a roundup of as many of them as I can, test it against each other as simply as I can. But yeah. I considered the Obsidian High Flow, but it's basically 4 times the price of the conch. If you don't need the flow rate, then yeah, totally get it. Would love to see that roundup, yeah. I did have a nasty clog with GF ABS. Oof, that fought me for a while. Yeah, that'll happen, or could. Let's see if I can get grease into this. Ah, that worked. Get into a little hole. There's a little hole on the end of this carriage I can get into. Debated the Diamondback. Oh, hey, I have a Diamondback too. I forgot about that. I debated the Diamondback to print all Revo, Slice, V6, Conch, Mellow release one too? Oh, I hadn't seen Mellow release one. The one that I'm currently waiting on to get started with testing, the only one that I don't have that I know of, Conch do same flow as the Obsidian High Flow, supposedly 30 millimeters cubed per second. Well, the Revo, the Obsidian High Flow can do up to 40. I've tested it to 40, so yeah. So I have personally tested the Obsidian High Flow up to 40. So I like the Conch parts. I don't believe that it'll do the same. I haven't tested the Conch on the Bamboo yet. I've only tested the Conch on the Prusa Mark IV, and it did not do as good as the high flow Prusa Mark IV nozzles, which are basically the same technology as the Obsidian High Flow because they're made by E3D. But yeah, depends on what you're doing, to be honest. The Diamondback isn't fast as Obsidian, but it did perform better with CF and materials. And that's part of the thing that I need to like discuss with the comparison is there's multiple ways to compare. So like, West 3D has an Undertaker nozzle. It supposedly screws into the Bamboo hot end somewhere. So one of those Taz nozzles. I didn't know that they had an Undertaker nozzle. That's a whole thing that I'm not going to get too buried in. I will test a Taz hot end with those replaceable nozzles, but I'm not going to get too far down in it. But the Obsidian High Flow can do more peak flow, but if you want a safe value, I mean, don't get me wrong. My profile is, I want to say 32 millimeters cubed per second for a safe flow rate day to day, but I know I can push it harder if I need to. I haven't tested the Conch yet, but I highly doubt the Conch is flowing as hard. I'll find out. The one that I'm waiting on right now is Mako. Mako is still delayed, and that's what's been holding me the hell up. Also, ASA flows more than ABS and PLA. Generally, yeah, and I print ASA mostly, so. Let's find that hole. Is that the hole? Trying to get some grease into this, but it's not cooperating. Doesn't have the CHT, but the melt zone is slightly longer. I'll have to look at it. I didn't pay that much attention to it. Didn't pay that much attention to it. I'll have to look. I've got the Conch. I got the Conch Plus. Is it Plus or Pro? It's Plus. Yeah. Yeah, the one I'm waiting on is Mako. Mako is just holding me up, or I would have started this process already, but Mako hasn't shown up. At Smurf, I finally got one of the. This is choice of words. Don't put words in my mouth that I definitely said. I've tested the cheap AliExpress clone and flow sucked so bad. I found it better than stock, but not by much in my testing. So, I don't know. Probably nozzle's bad and need to try another one. Yeah. Well, there's that problem too. Like, I also, with the cheap AliExpress one, I killed one of their hardened steel nozzles in like 2 prints. Of glow-in-the-dark filament because I was trying to torture test it, but I killed the nozzle like that. And I just cannot recommend those things over a stock hot end. Like, I don't see a reason for them over a stock hot end. Compared to others, well, yeah. I don't know. But 3DC, Swiss 3DC. Had to reduce speed 50% to have a consistent extrusion. Wow, okay, that's bad. Yeah, you had a bad nozzle or something. Like, I found it flowed better than stock, but not by enough to really justify. All right, one more. Currently installing AliExpress bamboo to the Dragon Burner. I don't know. I think that's part of the problem is I've had some people be like, oh, I got 40 millimeters cubed out of it, which there's an argument to be made that they're just being friendlier to it than they should be, and they're letting inconsistency and extrusion go that they shouldn't be. You know, testing standards aren't exactly universal. Or product inconsistency can be an issue, where like those are just not made to a great standard, so some of them might flow 40 and some of them might flow 15. Like, I don't know. And I'm not going to be buying a dozen of them just to quality control test. Problem is there's no quality control. Everyone's a gamble. QC is just non-existent. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to is like, I can't, even if I did buy a dozen of them to test and I found that, okay, 3/4 of them are good, I can't recommend that, because then the people who buy the 25% that aren't good are going to be mad at me. Well, you said this thing's okay. Like, I'm not going to recommend a product with such spotty quality. That and the biggest thing to me was like the wear characteristic. The fact that I wore out a nozzle so fast tells me it's just not hardened steel, and at that point, what's the point? A friend of mine bought 7 of those hot ends for a stealth changer build, and 7 were bad were DOA, or 2 were DOA. That stinks. That stinks. It's a good cheap option for that, but I'd probably just gone with stock bamboos at that point. What's the other one? Oh, Swiss 3DC. That's the one I was trying to remember. I got a Swiss 3DC hot end at Smurf. They gave me one for this roundup. So the Swiss 3DC hot end I have as well for testing. That's the one with the like clamshell opening end with the long brass nozzle that goes into it, or hardened nozzle. All right, those are lubricated. Now it's time for our Z-axis. All right, Z-joints. Z-joints. All right, this is what we're installing next, our Z-joints. All right, each one of these gets a PB5 bearing that then gets retained into that with M3x6 button head screws. Okay, let me move the other camera angle. All right. But yeah, I came home from Smurf with one of those hot ends to test out too. So it's just Mako that's the holdup now. Just Mako that's the current holdup. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten my review sample yet. Just like everybody hasn't gotten their ordered ones, unfortunately. Which I kind of wish I just went forward with the testing and be like, well, they took so long to release the product. I don't know. We shall see. All right. Wrong size. So bearing goes in the end of this joint, and then some button heads hold the bearing down into the joint. So there'll be a bearing at each corner now, similar to the, which mod is it? Armchair? No, Annex Engineering. The Annex Engineering Z-joints use a bearing. Caught you live for the first time in 5 months. Welcome, Fuzzy Tomato Head. Long time no see. Welcome, welcome. Right. All right. You should do a video reviewing the conch. That's not a single one on YouTube. Well, that's kind of part of where I was at with the hot end roundup. Is like I don't have time to be reviewing just the conch, or just the Mako, or whatever. So like I think it's there's not a single roundup on YouTube, at least not a current one. People have done like comparisons of 2 or 3 nozzles. I've done a comparison of 2 or 3 nozzles or hot ends. But nobody has done like a full-on roundup of all the options that currently exist. So I really want to do it. I'm just waiting on Mako, because Mako is late to the market. So once that shows up, then I will get to testing. Trying to get some grease into this bearing. No reason not to while I'm here. Yeah, I've got conches. I should really just start testing, but I prefer to do all the testing in one go. So like, try to keep things consistent. But for time's sake, I probably should just start testing. Yeah? One thing I miss from early 3D printing days is continuous testing. You'll see a roundup for things that are current at the time and inevitably 6 months later, no longer valid. The hard part is just constant testing. I think people also hold paid models to a higher standard. They just don't understand the model might be fine, but they won't make it magically work on their machine. Josh, you're referring to, you might be a little further back in the conversation we were talking about models. Yeah, totally reasonable. And I don't blame people holding paid models to a higher standard. It's part of why I try to make mine as good as I can. If I'm going to be asking money for them, then yeah, I should be trying. And I fully get that, and I don't blame folks for that. I need M3x6 socket heads. Where are the M3x6 socket heads? Just trying to look for them quick. I think I pulled them out already, and I don't see them. M3x6 socket heads. Here they are. I'm getting 30 millimeters cubed on a Rapido UHF with a CHT Volcano clone. Seems low to me. Nope, seems about accurate to me. The Rapido is a good hot end. 30 is no, I think that sounds accurate. My Rat Rig 500 has a Rapido UHF with a CHT, a Rapido UHF 2.0 with a CHT nozzle in it, and bimetallic, the hardened one. I get about 30. Rapido doesn't flow that well. Yeah, Rapido is a good hot end. It's not amazing. It doesn't flow as amazingly as some others do. Just is what it is. There are better options out there. Like, I took the Rapido base model, not high flow, not the UHF, out of my 2.4, this machine, because it didn't flow enough. Didn't flow enough for my needs. So I put in a Next G from Fadus, a Fadus Next G, or Drop Effect Next G. And with the UHF adapter in it, it flows better and is a similar size to the Rapido. Is there an upgrade from the Rapido without going monster like the Tube? Yeah, the Next G. The Drop Effect Next G will flow a bit more. I can get 30 out of it in a smaller package as a consistent day-to-day flow rate, but I can push it further than that if I really want. But it's only a minor upgrade over the Rapido, but it was an upgrade. Could you tell us your favorite hot end with flow and why is it the Tube? I haven't actually used Tube yet. I have one. It's going to be going in my Rat Rig, but I haven't run it yet to say that I like it. There are also other higher flow hot ends like the Dragon UHF, but then you're getting into longer hot ends that aren't going to fit into every application. But if you're running a Rapido UHF, you're probably fine. Dragon UHF will flow higher than a Rapido UHF. Did you see the induction hot end? I have seen it, yes. Interesting. I don't really know that I see a point. Neat, but like, we're in the same, it's the same issue as the ceramic hot ends we have currently, where I'm like, your bed takes so long to heat up, what's the point? Rapido Ace is a nice higher flow variant. I haven't tested any of those Triangle Labs. I worry about the Triangle Labs QC quality as well. So, what about Rapido, or what about Revo High Flow? I like Revo High Flow, but it is not very high flow in today's world. Like, the best I've ever gotten out of Revo High Flow is like 30 with like a 0.8 millimeter nozzle. For like 0.4 millimeter nozzle, Revo High Flow is only like 24, 25 millimeters cubed. It's really not that high flow by today's standards. So I like the Revo ecosystem. I just wish it flowed more. I'm really, really, really hoping in 2025 we get a Revo Volcano. If we get a Revo Volcano, I am back in on Revo. I find 30 to be my sweet spot. 30 millimeters cubed is my sweet spot for day-to-day printing. If I can achieve 30, I'm happy at this point. You know, I'm sure that'll eventually evolve into me saying, well, now it's 40 or whatever, but for day-to-day printing, 30 is where I would like to be. So if we could get a Revo Volcano that would get to 30, I'd be so about it. $45 plus or go home. Has anybody messed with Goliath? Nope. I hope to build a VZ bot some point soon. Mello was supposed to be sending me a VZ bot kit, but that was like 2 months ago. I haven't heard anything, so. Revo Volcano would be perfect for a Micron. Be perfect for a lot of stuff. I think it'd be great for a lot of things. Revo is such a nice little ecosystem. Like, it's a nice ecosystem. It's nice and compact in the hot end. Like, there's a lot of great things about it, but yeah. Revo high flow is usually around 25 millimeters cubed, 0.4, 0.6 for me, and that's enough for my day-to-day printing, but I gotta get that benchy under 10 minutes. Were you running a Dragon with a Volcano extender? If so, how was the flow? No, I've never done that. In my 0.1, I run a basic Dragon high flow with a CHT, and that only gets like 24, 25, maybe. I don't know. You can run a flow rate extender on that and supposedly get it up pretty good, but I've never tested it. I know like the A4T toolhead, the recommended hot end for the A4T toolhead is the basic Dragon high flow with a flow rate extender. Never tried it. Did you watch CNC Kitchen's latest video? He's going full-time on YT. Yes, I did. And I'm glad to see that. I'm glad he's finally making the jump full-time. I was hoping he'd be at Smurf, but he wasn't this year. But yes, saw that. Looking forward to seeing what he does with the full-time time. And he will probably figure out, like the rest of us do, that when you think you're going to have so much more time going full-time, you don't. I have a Dragon high flow with a Volcano block and a V6 extender. I've tested it up to 60. Cool. Without issue. I thought about doing that. My Trident has the Mosquito, the Volco Mosque. My Mosquito, so it's Mosquito hot end with a Volcano heater block on it. And I'm really looking forward to testing it on Trident. I'm hoping for 60. It's the same length as the Rapido UHF. Yeah. The Volco Mosque can fit within that same footprint. Hype for the VZ seems to have died off late. I wonder why. So many other machines are eating from the same, error. What I'm trying to say. A lot of machines are pushing speed. So, the novelty of the Mellow has dropped, or the VZ has dropped off. And then there's Tom. I miss Tom. He just doesn't seem to want to keep up with the industry hobby like everyone else, but he has one on the best back in the day. I've only met Tom like once, and I've never really spoken to him, so I can't say where he's at. He does not seem to care about where the hobby side of the industry is at the moment, and like that's okay. Like, do you? It seems to work for him. Like, I'm not going to comment on it. Like, if it works for him, do it. Do it to it if it works for you. But I don't know. Did you see you could add a Hemera heat break to the Revo and then add a Volcano CHC to achieve Revo Volcano? Yeah, but you're not achieving Revo Volcano. It's not the same. I want the Revo swap. I know I could put a Volcano block on it. I want the Revo quick change system in that configuration. I genuinely really like Revo, and I really like running it. It just doesn't flow enough for my needs these days. So I just want a Revo I want a Revo ceramic. Like, if they took two of the ceramic heater elements, stacked them end to end, and put a longer melt zone on the Revo, that's all I want. From what I heard, VZBot is currently under revision. I haven't talked to Simon in a while. Maybe. Brian Guthrie became a lab assistant. Thank you for joining up as a channel member, Brian Guthrie. I appreciate the support. I think for Tom, and I'm putting words in his mouth here. This is just me speculating. I think Tom got a really bad taste in his mouth when he started doing like Voron stuff and trying to get up with the market a little bit. He had a really bad experience with the Clipper folks and the earlier Voron community where it was a little more toxic before it calmed down a bit. And I think that just turned him off. And I don't blame him. I saw a lot of the same toxicity and it held me off for a while too. People were like really stuck in their opinions about what you were supposed to be doing. Like he wanted to run rep on his, and people were kind of like poo-pooing that and whatever. Love the color of the handles. Thank you. Yeah, that's the one thing about going all CNC like I'm doing here is I'm really going to miss all of my colors. First person to tube a bamboo is winning 3D printing. I've heard hints that there may be something along those lines coming. I think Bamboo has contracted the market for self-built high-speed. Oh yeah, Bamboo has really contracted the market. Speaking in like a contraction, contracted. Yeah, totally. And I've said it many times, like this market is going to shrink. The high-speed, custom-built 3D printer market is going to shrink. It's not going to go away. In my opinion, we are heading into daily driver territory. We're heading into, the way I put it is, we're going to have folks who want to hot rod their cars. You know, look at the car market. You get folks who buy a Dodge Challenger because it's a fast car with a warranty. And then you have folks who want to build a hot rod to get, you know, they'll spend $100,000 to achieve the same thing. We're heading into that type of world where you got people who want to buy a fast 3D printer or people who run day-to-day, like who want to build fun stuff for the sake of building fun stuff. You know, I'm always going to want to build a custom printer because I enjoy building custom printers. Does it mean that I want to run these things every day, all day? No. No, for day-to-day work, I've been running my Prussias lately. I know from a few sources that self-built, not just printers, sales are down quite a bit compared to last year. Yeah, totally believe that. I know I have heard similar things. Like when you can just buy a made printer, like the drive, it used to be you had to build a printer to get it to go fast. Now you don't have to, so a lot of folks don't care to anymore. The Bamboo H2D is fake. The images are from 2022. Yeah. I also think that all the patent stuff we've seen is just like, people were like, oh, look, we found a patent for this switching hot end. That's what Bamboo's going to run next. You have to remember a company like Bamboo that's running patented designs, they're going to patent designs they're never going to use because they have to. In the development process, they're going to develop things. I'm definitely looking at the Core 1 when the P1S dies. Yeah. I am really excited for the Core 1 for a day-to-day just run it printer. I am very, very, very tempted to get a handful of Core 1s and build my own little AFS or whatever they call their farm. Build a little wall of those machines and just have those for projects. Because when I'm stuck into a project like for YouTube, I just need to run a bunch of prints. And having a bunch of printers would really help. And those seem like they're going to take up a really small footprint and achieve what I need for a lot of projects. That's why Stratasys is suing them, because they're patenting a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I get that. They're suing them over stuff they haven't patented, but I get why I get the concept of why Stratasys is doing what they're doing. The whole bandwagon thing is it fractures this tech into camps and it's unproductive. Totally agree. I totally agree. I dislike the camps and everybody, you know, everybody has to have their thing. Why? Like I've got Bamboos, I've got Prussias, I've got Vorons, I've got a rat rig, I want to build a VZ-bot. Like I just enjoy this. What's it matter who does what? Some do things better than others, whatever. Super excited about the Core 1. Yeah, I'm real excited to see that. I might actually go back to reviewing for the Core 1. Like, I might have to review the Core 1 because I think it's really going to be an interesting option on the market. Okay, last one. Bearing goes in. I might actually do a review. I love it. I will build anything for the experience and learning. Yeah. I shill for positron because it's funny and I'm contractually obligated. And we're going to build a positron on this channel. We will. And I will magnet it to all kinds of random stuff in my studio. How much I'm going to use it? Don't know. But review a pre-built and an upgrade. Yeah, I do want to upgrade one of my machines and I do want to get it pre-built. So, fair. Have you thought of adding chamber heater on the Bamboo? There's some cool and cheap mods to do it. I've thought about it, but I don't know. My Bamboo achieves decent chamber temps. I don't know that I feel a need, really. I would like to see about adding a bed fan, but it won't really fit a bed fan. I also don't really have a lot of room on mine because I've got the bento box and I do not want to give up filtration on my bamboo. Now the bento box absolutely increases chamber temp by circulating air, so. All right, now that is done. I'm gonna move the camera real quick so we can point at where I'm actually installing this. There we go. And we can install this. Anzi, welcome in. Good evening, morning, whatever it is where you are. Evening, you say, so. All right. Welcome in. It's what, 11 o'clock here probably at this point? 10:45, yeah. There's a mod called Bamboo Sauna I'm thinking of doing. Or maybe just do something like bento box for recirculating air. Yeah. Chamber heater plus cheap is not a combination I'm comfortable hearing. Okay, that's reasonable. Yeah, that's a fact. Like, I don't know. There are some things that probably shouldn't be cheap, and chamber heater is probably one of them. Where did that just go? The screw just fell through. Oh. It somehow fell into this pile of screws. That's weird. All right. Screw in there. These came with Loctite applied in the proper location. Do you have 2 kilogram spools of filament back there? Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 2 kilogram spools of filament back there. Yes. Yes, on the floor back there are a handful of 2 kilogram spools. Persiament. Galaxy Black PLA. And then there's a couple of 2 kilogram spools of PETG back there from Persia as well. When they sent a bunch of filament, they sent a handful of 2 kilogram spools. So, and I'm missing a screw. 1 screw short, which is almost certainly my fault. Probably dropped it and didn't notice. Are CNC parts made on the Milo? No, these are all from Chaotic Lab. These parts are all from Chaotic Lab. My Milo is not up and running yet, unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately my Milo is not up and running yet. I'm not gonna probably touch it again until the new Big Tree Tech board is out. I was having a firmware issue where it's not homing properly. Whenever I try to get the Y-axis to home, it homes still inverted on the 1 axis. Yes, that. No matter what I did, it's still inverted on that 1 axis. So Big Tree Tech has that new Scylla board coming out, and I'm just gonna wait till that's out and swap in that board and then start fresh. Because I know I'm gonna convert to that board anyway, so I might as well just convert it. You know, why spend a bunch of time diagnosing what's currently going if I know I'm going to be changing it anyway? That's why we designed the new board. They designed the new board because mine has an inverted axis. So, yes. If anybody's not familiar, Jake England right there. I pronounce it with a hard K instead the Scylla. Well, I know it's not that. Jake says that what? You were saying Scylla, Jake, right? I'm 1 screw short here. And I don't see it on the bench. Let me look in my hardware here. No, I say it the same as you. Oh, okay, Scylla. Dang it. I am 1 screw short. I must have, oh, here we go. M3x6. Here's a few more M3x6s. I just need 1. Why fix if you can upgrade? I mean, yeah, pretty much. Okay, there's one. There's the one I need. Oof. Where's the best place to get a Voron kit? Where are you based? I personally find the LDO kits to be the best ones on the market. You do pay for that fact, but I'm a fan of Fabrico and West 3D, personally. Nomad says KB 3D. Chris is great, because Chris and I meme on each other. I personally really like Fabrico and West 3D as they're good supporters of the channel. So, you know, personal opinion. Canada, okay. That changes it. Who's a Canadian retailer? I honestly don't know. I forget offhand. I know there's Northprint 3D, but they're not a LDO retailer or even a Voron kit retailer that I know of. Nero's house. Yeah. Who is a Canadian retailer? I honestly don't know. Where's Nero when you need him? Yeah, he doesn't hang out in our chat that much. He's too cool for school. Sparta 3D? Never heard of him. LDO retailers. Distributors and retailers. Canada, Sparta 3D, Maker Parts, Maker Parts.ca. There we go, 3D Lab Tech. None of these send to Norway, so I end up buying from AliExpress. Norway, you've got what? 3D Jake sends there, don't they? Haven't seen Sparta 3D. I'm in America. I'm in America, so. Missing out on amazing filament that would fit your style. I'll have to look at it more. I will have to look, but for me, I mostly use Polymaker filament, so, you know, there's that. They sell Millennium, Sparta 3D sells Millennium Machine. They ship to the US. Okay, I'm looking now. Where's the filament? I don't see filament listed here on their kind of terrible website. Oh, up here we go. Let's look at ASA. That's my CF ASA, ASA, Sparkle ASA, Chameleon ASA, UV Reactive ASA. Ooh. Nebula, burnt titanium. Sounds like Sparta 3D might be sourcing from the same folks as, judging by the look of this spool, it looks like Sparta 3D filament is probably, purely me guessing, sure looks like the same spools as West 3D's Ambrosia. And judging by their Chameleon being burnt titanium also available, and Abyss purple, yeah, sounds like same filament as Ambrosia. You are correct. Okay, so I've got West 3D 20 minutes away from my house, so I can just go pick up Ambrosia filament. I really need to start using Ambrosia filament more because they've got some sick stuff available in there. Then there's Maker Parts here. So I've never really looked at Maker Parts either. LDO Voron kits. Yeah, they seem to have sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out. Wow. That's unfortunate, but yeah, there's a retailer list on the LDO website as near Nomad linked there. So, yep, cool. Okay. But yeah, I need to try Ambrosia more. I definitely need to try Ambrosia more. I've got a couple spools of it I've honestly yet to print with. I wish for more physical 3D printing stores. Yeah, so do I, and it's something I've considered before. Not here, like back in Philadelphia, I had thought about it, but then we had I just realized the stream on my TV was lagged 20 minutes behind. I kind of got that, Josh, because you were commenting stuff about our discussion of STLs and such while we were talking about something else. Complications of Norway not quite being in the EU. They're not part of the EU? That's well, I'm always surprised by those things. What was I thinking about? Yeah, 3D printing stores. In Philadelphia, we had Micro Center, and then here in Portland, we have West 3D. So like, spoiled. I think that there's going to be a market for like repair stores in the not too distant future. And something I'm kind of shocked by at this point is that Bamboo doesn't have like authorized repair centers around the country yet. Like, contract with some smaller repair shops, smaller 3D, like West 3D and like, you know, these different places, and get repair shops going. I'm just going to pivot Positron to be a repair shop. I mean, yeah, go for it. Okay. We got our Z-axis sliders on with the bearings in place. What's next? So all of these are installed. I already did the gantry stuff, but I didn't put the belts on. I did cut the belts down now. So West 3D acquired 3D Maker Parts, but not the same as Maker Parts Canada, but Chameleon Filament is the same as Ambrosia, not confusing at all. Yeah. Do you have any interest in doing Tool Changer on one of yours, or something like Box Turtle? Or do you not find yourself using multi-material that often? Gideon, I have a Prusa XL. So the hard part for me is I have a Prusa XL. So yes, I really want to do multi-material, and I have been with the Prusa. So like, at the moment, I don't have any interest in converting one of my Vorons to Tool Changer because I already have a Tool Changer and I don't feel like going through the effort to set up another machine as one. Maybe in the future I will, because I love the idea of an open source like Tool Changer setup. I just can't justify it right now because I have a ready-made application setup. So. Box Turtle, maybe. The only thing that holds me off on Box Turtle is I don't want to add a cutter to my tool head on this. IDEX the V-Core 4. I do intend to IDEX the V-Core 4 eventually, yes. My V-Core 4 will get IDEX at some point. All right, I'm going to pull this off of here for a second, because we've got to put belts on the gantry. Got to put belts on the gantry. Before we drop it into there. BTT Vivid. I don't know about Vivid. I'd like to. Dual tubes, it will be dual tubes, yes. When I do that, it will be dual tubes, yes. XL is limited to 295C though, so limitation even with an enclosure. I mean, yeah, but I'm not particularly worried about multi-material mixing, like PEEK, you know? I don't know. PEEK, nylon, polycarbonate. Like, the only thing I'm really interested in is ABS ASA mixing materials, using different materials for support. So use PLA for support with ASA, sure. That I can see, but I don't really have much of a need to do anything else on the XL personally. I don't know. Peak, Ultim, PEC, let's go. Well, that's what the heated chamber 2.4 will be for. Or maybe I need to bug Prusa for an HT90. They're not sending me an HT90. Be nice if they did, but I'm not gonna do multi-material with an HT90 either. It's a single tool head machine. Okay, I gotta get these off of here so I can get the belts onto here. My XL's become my default ABS ASA printer. All right. I need to get the enclosure for mine. There's been the skirts for this thing I would have loved to have printed multicolor, but I don't use the AMS on my Bamboo anymore, so couldn't do it. The AMS, my AMS on my Bamboo is just such a problem child that I can't justify using it anymore. I did the Sumo enclosure. Okay. Yeah, I forgot you did that. I thought about doing the sumo, but I don't know. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. The enclosure at all is big. I'd prefer to do the official enclosure. All right, belts. I cut belts for this yesterday. Where'd I put them? On this box that the printer is sitting inside of, on top of. Same AMS has been relegated to an expensive dry box. Yeah. I'm going to do a Python mod on my AMS. I've got a whole Voxel sent over a kit to do a Python mod. Should I do a stream on that soon? Should I do a stream on that soon? I don't know. I've got the whole kit to do the enclosed Python mod. I just haven't done it because that's the only way I'm going to get back to using my AMS. Nice, stream it please. Okay. Okay. Yes, stream the Python would be cool and different. Cool. Okay. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we can do that like Thursday because I would like to get that back up and running. So I cannot trust my AMS anymore, so it's just an untrustworthy animal. All right, so belts are going in under these clamps. So I can see if I should do it or not. Cool. Yeah, my AMS is a problem child, so I just refuse to use it anymore. Since I got the XL, there's just zero reason. I'd like to have it back up and running because at the moment I don't have an enclosure for my XL, so multicolor ASA and ABS printing is not something I'm doing right now. Unless I'm doing layer height changes. I want to see the Anaconda mod, 4 times 5 kilogram spool AMS. What issues do you have with it? It basically it just constantly has feed and retraction issues. Plastic spools, doesn't matter. Cardboard spools, whatever. It just fails to feed filament to the tool head consistently. And when I watch it, if I watch the thing, it's just slipping so ungodly badly. And it just binds up filament and overruns it. The motors are just so weak in there. And when it slips on the rollers, it just doesn't work. So it leads to serious feed issues trying to run prints, and then it's just like 9 times out of 10 I have to go rescue it and like manually pull back filament and refeed it. And it's a constant issue. Maybe the PTFE under the AMS. PTF, it's almost brand new AMS. I was so fed up with my old AMS, which I had replaced the PTFEs in, that I got another one. And the other one is almost as inconsistent. So maybe they could be bad in there, but I haven't. Have I taken it apart to look? I feel like I have, because I had to take it apart to get some filament that was stuck out of it. The new one is just almost as bad. I feel like some firmware updates have made it less reliable. I could be wrong, but wish list for Prusa, 12 core ones, 1 HT90 and 1 XL enclosure. I mean, yeah, that's pretty accurate. And maybe a second XL with 2 tool heads. I don't need 5, just 2. So I can get, like, you know, multi-material. Yeah, I used the AMS with cardboard spools forever. I really didn't have a problem, but how's the Mercury 1 doing? Do you still run a Revo on it? Yes. Mercury 1 still has a Revo on it, and it's collecting dust. I haven't used a Mercury 1 in forever. Not for a lack of wanting to, it just needs the last little bit of work. The last firmware issues that I had with it when I built it, I just never worked out. I never worked out the firmware issues, and as a result, am I going wrong with this? I think I'm going the wrong way. I'm going the wrong way with this. Damn it. The belts are supposed to go to the inside, not the out. I never worked out the firmware issues that it had, and as a result, I just never used it. much. I used it for a handful of projects, but like not nearly as much as I would have liked to. So it still has the Revo in it. But most likely when I do get around to working with it and rebuilding it, I will be taking the Revo out. Unless Revo Volcano comes out. Because it just doesn't flow enough for that machine, honestly. Did you get the screen rotation done? Nope. Screen is still rotated funky. And I'll probably end up making a new mount because just nobody has been able to fix the screen. The Merc's clipper still runs slow. Yes, that's the problem. The clipper instant just runs super slow. Let's move the camera angle quick. That is the problem with it. Clipper runs super slow and unresponsive on the Mercury 1, which I know what I'm going to do to fix it. The Mercury 1, it's got an Orbiter toolhead on, or Orbiter extruder on it. I have an Orbiter LDO toolboard that they sent me, the Orbitool toolboard. So I'm going to swap out the EBB36 for the Orbiter toolboard. That'll let me eliminate the U2C. It'll let me eliminate CAN, and I'll be able to go back to run, because currently the main board is running through CAN as well, through the U2C. And so that'll allow me to run the main board on USB again, run the toolboard on USB, and I feel like that's going, and combined with a fresh install of Clipper, I'm like 90% sure is just going to clean up all the issues I have with that machine. I just have to get around to doing it. I also have a CNC toolhead, the VZ toolhead for it. The VZ bot team gave me one of those. So I've got a CNC toolhead for it. And I haven't decided what hot end I'm going to switch it to when I do switch it. So slow clipper and sideways screen would build a lot of frustration with me. That's what happened. It built a lot of frustration and I just stopped doing it. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. It just frustrated me to no end, so I stopped doing it. Stopped working with it. Honestly, don't understand why CAN got so popular when USB exists. I don't know. Neither one is necessarily ideal the way we run them, I think, is what it comes down to. Why are my lips kind of numb? That's weird that I just noticed. Anyway, it's like I'm having an allergic reaction to something. Interesting. I'm thinking about putting the Magneto X Lancer melt zone in on the Merc. That'd be very interesting. Holding out for wireless CAN. Latency issues I foresee being a problem, especially around all the noise, the RF noise of a 3D printer, but not saying it's not doable. Probably doable. Just put some tape on this to hold this together. Have you tried Gridfinity for your drawer organization? You know, I started to do Gridfinity at one point, and it was just too much printing. I just didn't feel like doing it at the time. I guess that was when I wasn't doing like a ton of printing with every project like I am now. But I did start trying to do Gridfinity at one point, and I couldn't be bothered with all the printing. I was running USB in my Merc, had a lot of connection problems, switched to CAN, works wonders. That's the thing. Like I run CAN on this machine perfectly fine. I've been running it very happily. I'm switching it to USB purely just to try something different. The Trident's going to USB. I don't know. CAN versus USB is a matter of preference. Do you want to fiddle with hardware or software? Yeah. I mean, like, everything's going to have its trade-offs. CAN has been reliable on my Voron 2.4 here. Just wasn't on my Merc 1. And, you know, like, that happens. It could seriously be a configuration issue on that machine. I just chased my tail configuring that machine to get it to the point where it is. Like, I'm running a U2C on that with an SKR3EZ board. The SKR3EZ board is supposed to be able to be a CAN bridge, so I shouldn't need the U2C, but I simply could not get the CAN to work through the board. And the documentation on getting it to work is garbage. So I just put the U2C in because I knew that would work. It did work, but it's very slow. I did not realize the USB Orbiter tool board existed. Yeah. Orbitool. Yep. Been rewatching the 0G project with the current tech. What would you do different? Honestly, the only things I would do different is what I'm going to do. Probably a different hot end. I love Revo. It just doesn't flow enough for that big of a machine. And I would switch to the USB toolboard that I'm going to be running. So that's really all I can think that I would do differently on that machine today. You can run the EBBs in USB. Yeah, my rat rig runs the EBB in USB mode. The rat rig is running it in USB mode. It's just, you can run them that way. They're just not intended to be run that way. And it shows. Like, you have to run a USB cable and power cables to it, 2 separate cables. You could wire up your own cable, I guess, technically. But then you have 2 separate connections on the board, which are like kind of just sticking out there in no man's land. It's not a clean setup to do it that way. It can be done. But I don't know. But I just want to try out the... Wasn't thrilled with USB CAN bridge either. Yeah, I could not get it to work. I just simply could not get it to work. My SKR3EZ board, I simply could not get to work in CAN mode as the CAN host, like CAN bridge host. 3DO has a single cable. Yes, they do. I have it. I have a handful of them, and that's what I was intending to run on that. And I probably still will run on that machine because I want to run beacon on the... Oh, that's the one thing I would do differently, is run a beacon probe instead of clicky. Now that beacon has contact, I would run clicky, beacon because I'm going to put a beacon on that. Because I want to run a beacon on that, and I need a USB connection back to the Pi for the beacon. I'm going to use that 3DO cable. I've got one of those. Power, CAN, USB, all in one. You're still going to have 2 separate connections to make that happen. I don't know, whatever. The EBVs can run in USB. They were just never really made to do. I'm tempted to use it for both my custom printer, EBB plus beacon. Yeah. I haven't run that cable yet, but it seems good. It seems quality. I quite like that 3DO has it. I'm glad they did. It's not that big of a deal to make a... What do you call it? There's a name for it, that type of cable, but it's not uncommon in automation and in like robotic automation and the auto industry. I forget what it's called though. Does anyone know if BTT Eddy has a contact mode? I'm not aware of it yet. Cleans up the loom a lot, yeah. I meant to ask them about that at Smurf, and I forgot. If they have and/or are going to constant flex. No. I meant the harness type cable where you just have like a bunch of conductors in there. Like I have legit constant flex cable on the Mercury One right now. It's what I'm running. I2C Eddy will never offer it. Maybe the USB one. Why would it matter what connection it uses? I've been using the new EBB 2209 USB with Big Tree Tech and a beacon. It's so nice. Recommend double checking the wires. Okay. That's what I'm going to be running on this Senpai. I have the new 2209 USB, and I'm going to be running beacon on this with that. And that's why I got the new 2209 USB, because it has a USB port on it so I can connect beacon to it. I burned a beacon when I switched the wires. Ooh, good to know. I will pay distinct attention to the wiring. Has to do with the way the MCU interpolates data. The I2C, last I checked, doesn't have the proper style data flows to initialize LDC 1612 in the mode needed to perform contact. Okay, thank you for the explanation. Yeah, not familiar, but I thank you for the explanation. It's the stuff that's over my head, you know. 3DO has a USB CAN cable to run both. Yeah, we were just talking about that. I've got one of them here somewhere. I asked them to send me like a spool of it, basically, and I never did get it. They said they were going to, and I never got it. But I do have like a couple meters of it here. I was intending, I probably still will run it on my, I'm going to use that 3DO cable on my next Voron 2.4 build, because my next Voron 2.4 build is getting an EBB36 running in CAN mode, and it's also going to be running Beacon, which needs a USB connection. So I will be using that cable, that 3DO cable on that, and probably the Mercury one. Mercury one, I am currently running constant flex cable with twisted pairs and all that in it. Legit constant flex cable from Aegis, which is great, but kind of overkill, honestly. Ooh, that came loose. Why not Nighthawk 36 on that one? I'm going to be running Nighthawk 36 on the Trident. I'm not running Nighthawk 36 on the next 2.4 build because I'm running a full Bondtech toolhead on that. The whole SLS printed housing nonsense. And that uses the EBB 36 specifically. Just like that's what it has provision for. So that is why I will be running that. Also, Nighthawk 36 had some issues with the original batch. I don't know if that has been straightened out yet. Should be. They said December was when they were expecting to have the new batch worked out. Did you print the new Stealth Burner pieces? It uses different clockwork body. I'm not running clockwork. I'm running Galileo. But I believe it uses different Galileo pieces too. I got to look at that and figure it out. I'll probably have to print the parts. I have not. I downloaded them. I haven't printed them yet. I dream of running an EBB 36 in CAN with the beacon plugged into the USB port. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Just two totally different protocols. I don't think you're going to get the USB connection over. Why is this one? All of these just tightened in here perfectly fine, but not this one. That's weird. Is this the wrong size screw? Kind of seems like it. Not possible. Yeah. Just two totally different protocols. You can't transmit the data over CAN for USB, I don't expect. Why is this being like this? I know it won't happen, that's why I dream of it. Fair? Fair. But yeah, no, I haven't printed the new parts for the Stealth Burner yet, so I gotta look at that. I gotta rebuild my Stealth Burner anyway. My Galileo instance is still beta, so I wanted to print the newer Galileo parts anyway. Just makes sense. Just trying to check why this screw doesn't seem to reach. It reached on all the other ones, but not this one. That's so weird. It's the right length screw, it's just not working in this one instance. All right, let's tighten this down. Tighten down that half and try. Why are you not reaching? Where's my screwdriver? There you are. What the hell? This one screw is too short. Have you checked out the A4T toolhead? Yes, I printed all the parts for an A4T, and then I realized I printed the wrong parts. What I can say about A4T right now is it needs a configurator. Because there's like a slew of parts for different extruders and different hot ends, and I have no idea what ones go with what. It's very not clear in my opinion. It looks really interesting and I really want to try it out. I have a build that I do intend to use it on once I can figure it out. A4T is a bit convoluted, yeah. Like they have configurators for, they need to take the configurator they have for error. Archetype. They need to take the configurator they have for Archetype and just use it for A4T, and Zoll would be nice too. Zoll's not nearly as confusing, but A4T sure is. Why is this screw too short? I just put 3 of these screws in. They weren't too short. The 4th one is too short. That makes no sense. Why? It's the right length screw. It just drops in as too short. Yeah, that's not doing it. What the hell? It is a 14 millimeter screw. Let me look here. Yeah, M5 by 14. That's what the screw length it should be. But the threads on the end of it are kind of tapered. I wonder if this one screw is just funky. Let me try a different one. This is a different one. Weird. Nope, this one doesn't reach either. Why? I'm gonna turn this around so I can get a better look at it. What's wrong with this nut? It's like this roll-in nut is sitting down too far or something. You know what? I can see. It's like this CNC bracket is like slightly too wide. Why? What's your issue here? Is there wind noise in your end, or has it suddenly gotten windy here? There's no wind noise here. Nope, no wind noise here. You did just remind me the fan was still on in the Prusa, but... Nope. All right, why are you fighting me? Oh. Nope. What the hell? This screw is just too short. Why would it work on 3 but not 4? Sounds like 100 miles an hour outside. Oh boy. Why would you work on 3 out of 4? I don't understand what I'm missing here. Let me try tightening this screw. Tighten these CNC bracket screws to pull this together a little bit. I left them a little loose because I was leaving things loose until I got it in the machine. It doesn't seem like it did anything. Like I can see it pushing the roll in. I'm gonna try and get underneath the roll in with a flathead and push it up into the screw, because I can see the roll in nut push down when the screw comes in. So like it's working ish. All right, I'm gonna take this out. Use a hex to keep it from moving. Yeah, like it's so tight I can't even get under this. All right, pushed it up with a flathead. It's not grabbing. All right, I'm gonna take one of the screws from the other corner that already worked and try and put it in that corner. That's all I can do. Like that one was just absolutely threaded in. And yeah, okay, I can see it now. I see the issue. This is never going to pick up on camera. This screw has like a slightly tapered tip to it, which is good for starting a screw, except for I need that last bit of thread to grab into this roll-in nut. This screw that was working on the other corner is threaded all the way to the end and much less of a tapered tip, which just, it needs. Yep, it's barely catching into the roll-in. Like it should be, they're using M5 by 14s. I feel like it should be using M5 by 15s. They need just a little bit longer screw. Oh well. Okay, now I need to find another one of these that has a less tapered tip. I got two of them here that have fairly tapered tips that aren't working. Oh, but it worked in this corner. Whatever. Why? I don't know. It's done. All right. Gantry is belted. Now we got to put the gantry into the frame. Gantry into the frame time, which means this needs to get out of the way so I can get the frame back up here. Okay. All right. All right, let's get this up in here. Do the tilt through here. Now, guide these down into those bearings. Our M5 screws at each corner go into the bearings. Come on. After seeing you work on the rat rig, this looks small. Yes, it does. Compared to that, absolutely. Ah. Why? There we go. Getting these all to line up just right is a little, there we go. All right. That rat rig makes this look like a V0. Yes, it does. Okay, so we need to conical spring. Oh shit! There's supposed to be a spacer on top of those. Damn it! Yep, there's spacers that go on top of the bearings. So I got to lift the whole gantry up and one by one put spacers on those screws. That's annoying. Let me block this up. That'll make my life easier. Block the whole gantry up. With 1 by 1, 2, 3s. That's what I meant. 1, 2, 3s. Okay. Washer. Corner. Bearing. Boom. Okay. Okay. Spacer, bearing, come on. There we go. 2. Damn it. Okay, I gotta put the conical washers and the thumb screws on here before I move on. Okay, 1 together. Let's put, this corner gets a spring and a thumb screw underneath here. So, spring goes on with the big side of top, and now thumb screw. Boy, that just ever so slightly rubs. That's kind of annoying. It's probably because the other corner's a little funky at the moment. Okay, one started, next one. Come on. There we go. Next spring. Oh, damn it. I got 2 spacers in this corner somehow. One of the spacers must have stuck to the screw. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, now, spring, thumb screw. Okay. Okay. Back. Back end. Spacer. There we go. Oops. I just leaned on my keyboard and it changed scenes on me. Okay. One more spring, one more thumb screw. Okay, last one. Spring, thumb screw, spacer. All right. Come on. Gotta get this lined up just right. So it drops through that bearing. It wants to shift ever so slightly. There we go. Hey. Okay. This is the joy of CNC parts, is we're gonna start to reach a point where everything gets a little more bind happy, because CNC parts, less forgiving than printed parts. It's just how it is. They are just less forgiving. Okay, how tight do I get those? Doesn't say. Follow, I'm gonna look forward. Nope, there is nothing forward to look at. Okay, doesn't tell you how tight to get those. Just install them. So I'm gonna tighten them down until I feel preload is somewhat accurate, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna try and tighten until the screw sticks to the back of the thumb screw, because that seems like something that would make sense to me. The best way to keep it from backing off, get it as threaded on as I can. I don't want to go too darn tight. Like this is designed to have some give in these corners. That's why the springs exist. Okay. Tighten until it cracks and back off a quarter. Ah, yeah. The redneck method. Tighten until it cross threads, then back off. You know, I should go grab the impact gun. Give it a few dugga-duggas. That's what I should do. All right. One more. This is looking good. It's all black, so it's kind of boring, but it's looking good. We'll get there. It's all black, so it's kind of boring, but I wish I could have gotten purple. I wish they had purple as an option, but it wouldn't have been the right purple anyway, I'm sure, even if they did. Saltwater is a poor man's Loctite. No, poor man's Loctite is a coarse threaded bolt with a fine threaded nut. That's poor man's Loctite. All right. Get these 1, 2, 3s out of here. Now it's time to belt. We gotta belt the Z-axis. Z-axis belting time, which is oh so fun. because I've got to go down through the gear reductions, the reduction boxes, and then back up to here and then back down. All right, I'll flip this machine up. I can get under it. Flip this machine up so we can get under it. I'm gonna move the second camera angle quick. Again. He said poor, not utterly unhinged. Yeah, well, what can I say? I'm from Rednecks. I've legitimately heard somebody at the racetrack say that before in the circle track days. That's not a lock nut. It's a fine thread nut on a coarse threaded bolt. Of course it's a lock nut. One man's unhinged is another man's ingenuity. I do not necessarily recommend said ingenuity, but here we are. All right. You go down through here. Ooh, there's actually a nice opening in the bottom of this that I should be able to get this. Wait, which way do you go? No, you go around this side. Okay. Picking up a fridge, all right. Good luck. Don't hurt yourself. Lift with your knees. All right, up through here goes the belt. All right, belt through there. Now the belt needs to come up through the CNC parts. What's more satisfying, well cable managed PC or well cable managed printer? I don't know. To me, printer, but it's because I put more time into printers than I do PCs. So I'm biased. All right, one belt. Okay, now, where's my clamps? There they are. Belt clamps. Oh, okay. So the belt comes through and then back up through this clamp. Interesting. All right. M5 by 14s hold this down. I need to loosen up this thumb screw adjuster at the top. Off stream, I did install the CNC upper idlers just because they were going to be really annoying to do on stream, I felt. So just CNC aluminum versions of the upper idlers for the Z-axis. Just loosening them up now so I get like maximum adjustability out of the lowers. All right, or out of the Z-axis. I mean, this is interesting. There's like a loop. There's a slot in this CNC part for the clamp, but it prevents you from. It holds the belt nicely, but it prevents you from adjusting the belt easily before installing it. All right, that'll work. 14s. 5 by 14s. All right, one in. Next one. All right, one belt. One belt belted. So loose. Could I get it tighter than that? I should probably get it tighter than that before I get to the adjusters. See if I can back this off a hair and pull the belt any tighter. I think because of the way this clamp is designed, I don't know if that's going to happen, but... Oh, no. Okay. I was able to get a couple teeth out of it. Spent a full day managing my rig last time. I did through a thorough cleaning for my workstation rig. Yeah, I really need to give mine some love. But I'm waiting to decide if I upgrade it or not. I don't know. I'm very, very tempted to give my machine an overhaul and upgrade before potential tariffs go into place, and it costs me more to do so. But I am yet to decide. Okay. That's probably a little tight. Oh yeah, too tight. Because I need the adjuster to be up in there a little more. The adjuster's a little funky. All right, let's back that off a little bit. Because I've got some potential projects for 2025 where I might need a little more horsepower in my computer. Yet to be determined. Will you be upgrading your Mark IV's to a Core 1? I will be upgrading one of my Mark IV's to a Core 1, yes. That one, probably. The enclosed one. I think I'm going to upgrade the enclosed one to a... What are the future builds going to be? Can't talk about it yet. Can't talk about that yet. Big and complicated. Big and complicated. So I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. It's not a done deal yet. But it's something that could be majority of 2025. So we shall see. I will let you folks know as soon as I know. For sure. And it's like locked in and I can really talk about it. But yes, that Mark IV's, my enclosed one, I will be upgrading to a Core 1 when I can. My open unenclosed Mark IV's, I'm going to leave as a Mark IV's. Ah, does it sound like a flaming bird? Phoenix? Oh, no, no, no. No, 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 no. No, at the moment I have no intention of building a Phoenix, unfortunately. Just, I don't have enough space in here. Like, this may not be a limited space, but yeah. Turn the whole house into a 3D printer, turn the whole studio into a 3D printer? No. Y'all can keep on guessing, but you're probably not going to get it. Wouldn't it make more sense to keep the enclosed one and upgrade the stock Mark IV's? I get that thought, and that was my original thought. Yes. Here's why I decided not to do that. The enclosure for the Mark IV's takes up so much space. It's so big because it fits a bed slinger. It's kind of annoying how big it is. So if I convert that to a Core 1, it'll take up a lot less space. The open, unenclosed Mark IV's, where it's sitting in the studio now, I love the way it looks. It's in front of my multi-board wall on top of one of the toolboxes. It doesn't take up a lot of space because of that, because it's unenclosed. So I really like that. As such, I want to leave it that way. I want to get rid of this enclosure, go down to a smaller footprint with the Core 1, and that's the goal. So, yeah. I will keep that enclosure, and I'll probably convert it to like a dry box. I was thinking about like putting put like a poly dryer unit in there and some desiccant and some spool holders and use it for like TPU and engineering materials and like make a dry box out of it and put it somewhere where I can like keep filaments in it. So I'll still use it, not get rid of it. But yeah, that is my thought process on why the enclosed one, not the unenclosed one. I was talking to Steve. I think he's doing the same thing. He's going to do an upgrade on his unenclosed. Or not as, keep his unenclosed one. 2 or 3 poly dryers could be great. Yeah, I could turn it into one big dryer enclosure. I don't know. I'm not necessarily thinking it be a dryer so much as a dry box. As just like a good storage setup that to prevent moisture ingress more so than take it out. Use the enclosure to do a design DIY core one. I don't know about that. Don't know about that. The core one is so like engineered within its constraints. What were some of the guesses back there? Any VZ bots? I'm waiting on Mello. Mello was supposed to have sent me a VZ bot kit, but I haven't gotten it yet. So if Mello ever sends the kit, yes, we will be building a VZ bot. As of right now, don't know. So they, a while ago, said they were going to send a kit, but it hasn't come. So, Armstorm Giga? Hell no. Why not do it? Go from printing the dash for Dad's truck a few videos back to printing a full truck. There's already an upgrade kit? Already an upgrade kit for what? Oh, someone in Philly got a free VZ bot. I hope not, but potentially. I hope not, but potentially. Wouldn't shock me. Oh, from Prisha Mark 4S to Core 1. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. I'm going to upgrade one of my Mark 4S's to a Core 1. That's what we were talking about. I was just saying I'm going to do my unenclosed one, not my enclosed one. Or, no, my enclosed one, not my unenclosed one. I'm going to leave my unenclosed Mark IV at Mark IV. Yeah. But no, my mailbox in Philadelphia has my contact information. So if any packages went there, they should contact me. So by DIY Core 1, I mean just cram an XY motion system into it. It's not that rigid of a frame structure. The enclosure, I don't think it would work out very well. I don't think that would work out very well. Ah, damn it. I'm now running into one of those screws that's... Oh, okay, it works. It works, it just barely reaches. Okay. Pull this a little tight. I'll loosen this up a little bit. It's tensioner. Yeah, the enclosure's nice. It's over-engineered as hell. But I don't know that I would consider it stiff enough to put a motion system inside of. All right, tensioner loosened up so I can pull this belt a little tighter. All right, now we can put in our last screw here. Ah, come on. Screw just barely reaches. That is so frustrating. These screws need to be 1 millimeter longer. MMU dry box could be a good idea. Yeah, that was kind of, I thought about that. Maybe like have the whole buffer and dry box set up for an MMU inside of there. I don't have an MMU right now, but it, you know, it could play with that on the Core 1. That is an option, something that could happen. Yeah, I think that one screw is just not going to work. Any other plans for this 2.4? I mean, there's just a handful more things that are happening with it. It's getting additional bed fans. It's getting all the CNC stuff. Not really. The new stealth burner board, the new USB 2209. But that's largely it. This thing was a very reliable machine that I really depended on, and that's why I just want it back up and running. It needed maintenance anyway, and I had the CNC kit from Chaotic Labs, so it's getting those parts. It was either that where I reprint all of the parts for it. And if I'm doing that, I might as well put the CNC parts on. So here we are. Okay, 2 corners down. Get 2 birds stoned at once. Yeah, exactly. Okay, flipping. Do the other 2. Bloop. Okay. And beacon. This is also getting to beacon. Also getting beacon. Come on. And I'm almost, I don't think I'll get to it. I gotta find the carriage. I don't know what I did with the carriage that's going on this. The toolhead carriage. Or else I'd say maybe we could get the XY axis belted today. Should probably look for it quick and see if we can't do that, because I really need to make progress on this so I can move on to other stuff. Oops. Didn't feed that through the CNC parts. Through the gantry corner. There we go. Okay, through there you go. All right. Where did I put those screws? Just out of reach, of course. Damn it. Come on. Get this started. Okay. Need to build 2.4 someday. I thoroughly enjoy these machines. They are my personal favorite. Well, that's not necessarily true. I like the zeros quite a bit, but I quite like a 2.4. It's not for, I don't know. I still recommend Tridents to most people, but I do quite like 2.4s. All right, I gotta get a tooth or 2 out of this belt. Did you update any of the prints for this 2.4? Yes, skirts. I showed them at the beginning of stream. Because I'm going to be putting a click-clack door, the full front door that uses extrusions for the frame of the door. Because I'm going to be doing that, my skirts on the front are changing. And I remixed the design that's currently available for the front. You know what? Maybe we'll get to that after we get this on here. We'll get the skirts done, maybe. If you want to get weird, there's always printer for ants. Yeah, it's just printer for ants are so hard to justify. Like, I really want to build a salad fork. I really want to build a salad fork. But it's just so hard to justify the expense of a printer for ants. Because, like, it's all the same parts as a project like this, just small. I want to build a 180 salad fork. I know Micron's the popular thing. I'm just waiting for kits. I'm waiting for kits for 180 salad fork. So whenever 180 salad fork kits, I thought some folks were going to be coming out with them yet this year, but it doesn't look like it yet. But whenever those come, I'll probably build one. I've seen 160 salad fork. Yeah, 150 and 160 salad fork kits exist, but not 180. And I think 180 is a sweet spot, personally. I personally think 180 is the sweet spot for a day-to-day printer. I think it's really the best all-around everyday printer size. Box turtle in the 2.4? Unlikely, but maybe. I don't know. I just really don't want to put a cutter on this thing. I really don't feel like packaging a cutter on the tool head here. But maybe. I would like to play with box turtle. I really would. Why is that not feeding up through there nicely? Love the box turtle logo. I love the styling of the box turtle. It's really solid. You're already tearing into it. I know. I don't know if a cutter exists for Galileo is part of the problem. I'd have to kind of remix my own stuff. Is this an LDO kit? No, this was a full self-source build. This build was a full self-source, and the CNC parts I'm putting on are Chaotic Lab. Nope, this one is self-source. Why? This machine is just wanting to piss me off. This last belt doesn't want to get through its home. The other three fed up through here without issue. And this last one is like, nah. There we go. Just had to fold the belt a little bit. Guide it. Yeah. I've got to reprint some parts for the tool head for the new tool board that I'm going to be running. But I don't know that those parts and or Galileo parts exist for cutter. Seems to be a theme with Voron's pissing us off this weekend. Yes, you're not wrong, Rich. I don't think mine's pissing me off nearly as much as yours is you. Still don't know why mine smashed into the Z-switch. It was having a moment. It was having a moment, Rich. Have you tried it since that happened? I forgot to ask. All right. Screw into you. Shook the desk when it happened, so something probably broke. Potentially, yeah. Not entirely unlikely. I mean, you were planning to tear it down anyways, right? All right. Loosen that up just a hair. Get a tooth or two out of this belt. Ah! Pulled that out. Okay. Tighten this. With the LDO 2.4 kit, I got pretty confused trying to follow all the guides when I got to the extruder hot end section of the build. Still, yeah. I love LDO, and their guides are pretty good. They're just way too disjointed. Like, they really need to just put them all into one instruction set for LDO and not make you jump around to different places, and they really need to work that out. But I think the market is shrinking a little bit and kind of makes that a little hard to justify, understandably. Okay, tight, tight, tight. Tight, tight. tight, 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 tight. Are you getting anywhere with the Voron build? I'm dialed back on the Voron build. I think I've discussed this a bunch at Smurf, but I don't know if I discussed it on stream much. I haven't touched the Voron build in a while. One, because I started working in the studio again instead of the office like I intended to, and the Voron was supposed to be for the office. Two, because there was a problem with Voron. It was getting too popular. And I don't mean that in a hipster way. I mean that in the, like even Roger, the designer of the Voron, Rich, what's Voron? Voron is the Voron Delta. It was literally an April Fool's joke of a Delta Voron 3D printer. Voron Delta. Voron Delta. It's a really cool looking machine, but it was never truly meant to be a like high quality printer. You know, it was a fun project that Roger threw together for an April Fool's joke. And it's kind of spiraled out of control. And what I saw when I started looking to do Voron and was like doing the first couple streams was interest really seemed to spike. And I really don't think it's a good printer for most of the people who were talking about building one. So I kind of felt like I was being a bad influence. I was building the machine understanding the limitations of the machine. Like when you enclose the Voron, you lose like 50 millimeters on X and Y in the build volume. It becomes like a 100 by 100 printer when it's enclosed. That's really hard to justify. So for a lot of folks, I don't think it's a good machine. And I was worried that folks were like seeing me building one as an endorsement of, you should build one of these. So I was like trying to figure that out. I don't know. Yeah. I talked to Roger at Smurf and he was kind of like 140 enclosed, I think. I thought it's even less than that. Or I've been told it's less than that. I haven't built it yet to say. I know when I was talking to Roger at Smurf about it, he was, I don't want to say displeased, but like he was most certainly not super thrilled with like how far it's gone from the initial thing and like trying to support it and all that. Yeah. So I don't know. I really legitimately only really want it for a shelf ornament. I want it for a showpiece. That's it. So, you know, I'm fine with building it for that. I still want to build it, but yeah. Yeah, that's too small. Missing my big printer while the Voron being down. Yeah. Okay. I got to take this screen off so I can get the new screen on here. Well, not new screen, the new front skirts on here. So what you're saying is we need to cull Veltas? I don't know about that. They're still really cool, and they're still printers. I have to balance that stuff sometimes. I just felt like it was going a little. I have to figure out how the heck to do it, and not me like, you should build one of these, because I really don't think you should build one of these. Okay, screen on. Wow, that is heavy. I forgot how heavy the screen is. Okay. Is the rat rig done? Not done. It's up and running and printing. I'll be having a video about it sometime in the near future. There's a few bugs I need to work out on it, but yeah. A few bugs I need to work out on it, and I'd like to do a print and chill kind of thing with it sometime soon. I just don't know if I have time, unfortunately. But we will absolutely be talking about the rat rig more in the near future, whether it be just a dedicated video of, I want to do a first impressions video of like, hey, here's my experience with building the VCore 4, and here are some prints off of it. Or a print and chill. I mean, the first impressions video is going to happen either way too, but I don't know. All right, where's my screen mount? There it is. My new screen mount. Fire up the heat press insert tool. I need to swap them around. Please put a CM5 in there so you can run Doom off the screen. Is that so you can pass time while waiting on prints? Can you run Clipper Screen and Doom at the same time? I don't know about that. If I can't run Clipper Screen, there's no point to me. So, interesting thought, but I don't see myself doing that. Just so you can say you run Doom. Yeah. Okay. So, oh, I gotta get some heat presses into these. Inserts into these. I'll reposition this in a moment so that it's more visible for you folks, but yeah, add a second screen. Could you explain what the metal plates behind your linear rails on the gantry are for? Oh, these. They are thermal expansion plates. So these are titanium plates. They are because inside of a warm chamber, they're rail backers, yeah. So inside of a warm chamber, your linear rail and your aluminum extrusion that your, the aluminum extrusion that our linear rails are mounted to and the linear rail have two thermal coefficients, different coefficients of expansion in temperatures. So when the chamber gets hot, the linear rail and the extrusion will expand at different rates, which can cause warping in the bed mesh or the consistency of the print, especially as temperatures fluctuate up and down. The rail backers are titanium pieces that mount to the backside opposite, so the linear rail's on this side, the backers on the opposite side, to help keep that in control and keep that flex from being an issue. Does it really work? There's charts and stuff that say it does, and in like, you know, simulation testing it does. I've noticed no difference, but I put them on because they're supposed to make a difference. Thanks for the clear explanation. You are welcome. Yeah, it's one of those like where like the core one, anything happening with the Trident. We're going to get to the Trident as soon as this is done. We'll get back to the Trident. So I want to get back to it. I really want to get the Trident done. But I needed this machine back up and running first. So we will be back to the Trident in the not too distant future. Hopefully before the end of the month. I just really need this machine done. But yeah, that's like the Core 1. I have them for style points. I mean, reasonable. It's titanium on your machine. Come on. They're also available in steel and stainless steel. Like the Prusa XL and the new Core 1 that's coming both have steel gantries. Press brake bent steel. And so they should be a little more thermally stable as the coefficient of expansion of steel will more closely match stainless steel with the linear rails. Or with a linear rail. So, yeah. So you trade off of maybe a little bit of weight running steel versus aluminum extrusion, or arguably rigidity depending on the exact specific design, but you also avoid that issue. I wish I had the forethought to modify stealth skirts to stick out 20 millimeters to the front to accommodate the fridge door. I know, Aaron. Like I went through all that effort with the stealth skirts, and I'd like to run a fridge door on the Trident, but I think I'm probably just going to end up putting regular doors on it just so I don't have to deal with it. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. Okay. These back on. And put these mounts on quick. Cool. Inserts in so I can put these mounts on. The fridge door looks really bad on the stealth skirt and covers the screen. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. P1S gantry is nice on that. Yeah, the carbon rods. Carbon rods both being the gantry mounting and the linear rail slide, whatever, does kind of avoid that issue. That is reasonable. Fair point. Trying to find a good printable single door on the Trident. I do not like the double doors, so also ugly. Agreed. I wonder if anyone has tried to make steel plate instead of an aluminum extrusion on X to avoid thermal expansion. Yeah, it's been done. Where have I seen it? I mean, technically, I think the Magneto X is kind of like that. I don't think it's an extrusion. Pantheon does. Yes, there's a point. Pantheon is a machined plate for the X-beam, I'm fairly sure. So it's been done. It's been done. Okay. This goes on here. I can mount the screen, so I might as well mount the screen, I guess. K3, but, well, send cut, send it, yeah. Well, K3 is a cross gantry, isn't it? So it's K3's, K3 is using the rails, isn't it, as the gantry, effectively? Okay, so skirts going on here. Screen's got to go on here. So mount the screen to this mount piece. Where are my screws? Here they are. Where did I just put the Phillips bit? There it is. The door, not the gantry. Oh. Sorry, I thought you were talking about, we were talking gantries. I see where we got there. Got it. I see. All right. Oh yes, my access holes worked beautifully on this. This is my own screen mount design for this. Well, it's a modified take on a previous design, but a heavy remix by me. And then I further heavily remixed it to work with the fridge door mod. You're upgrading this to USB CAN. It's not USB CAN, it's just USB. But I am changing it to USB, yes, Rich. Lambo doors on the 2.4, yeah. I just looked, there's a lot of new remixes for the stealth skirts. Oh, okay. I haven't looked at that in quite some time. I'll have to take a look. I shall have to take a look as well. Okay, so new 4.3-inch TFT screen mount for It's got the 20 millimeter additional and 1 millimeter drop added to it for the fridge door. So, cool. Now I need to stick a couple screws through this so I can get this mounted. All right, my access holes work. I'm like confirming my design as I'm going here, so. All right, all right, all right, all right. All right, there you go. Cool, screen is on. Let me feed my DSI cable back up in here. It's got to go way through this spacer now, which is a longer nonsense, but get through there. You can do it. Cool. All right. Whew, this DSI cable is just long enough, and maybe not. I might have to try and bypass that. Yeah, this DSI cable is just long enough to reach my screen. Now it is 20 millimeters further forward. I'm gonna have to unplug it from the RPi end, get some slack. So it's gonna be easier to plug in the RPi than it is up here at the screen. Come on. God, I love DSI. I hate the cables. Your BTT affiliate link doesn't seem to be working. Well, that stinks. What is the link in the description? What's it doing? But it's not working. Is it just a broken link? Hey, come on, get in there. I think it's in there. All right, cable's in there. Cool. Now the other end plugs into the Pi. Cool, that is just long enough. If I can bring my Pi over a little bit. Yeah, that'll help. I think the URL shortener you used is foobar. Well, the URL shortener is the affiliate link program. Should be. Drops me to a blank landing page. That sucks. Thank you for the heads up. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, the share a sale is the affiliate program, so that should not be an issue. Yep. Expire. Why would that happen? Way to go, share a sale. You assholes. Great, that means like a ton of my affiliate links are borked. That sucks. So not good. There it is. Okay, let's get the non-shortened version. Edit, replace the link. Save. Paste. Bloop. Oh, I think the link's too long for, yep, the link is too long. All right, I updated the link in the description. This one is too long. Oh my God, why are you doing that? I can't delete my own link from the chat. Whatever. It's fighting me. Anyway, link is updated. Limited amount of click-throughs. That should not be a thing. But whatever. I'll have to contact ShareSale. They got something screwed up on their end. Ever thought about a drawer-style electronics? Drawer-style electronics would not allow me to have nearly as clean a wiring as I like. Like, having to have all of this, no. It's just no way. Donald, welcome in. I've not even given it any consideration just because I can't see it making it clean enough. Honestly, it's rare that I have to access the electronics in this machine once it's up and running properly. So I'm not too worried about it. I might, well, I can't now. I was gonna say I might consider putting the rollback mod on this thing, but where it sits on a shelf, I can't roll it back anyway. I have to pull it down, so meh. Zachary, hello. Okay, that's mounted up. Now it's front skirt time. I have brims on these, gotta pull off real quick. Slice off real quick. I did realize as I multicolored these, so I multicolored this skirt remix that I did, but then I realized that because this protrudes the way it does, the side is going to be visible. I mean, oh well, is what it is, but not ideal. Oh well, you'll see the multicolor from the side. Not like you look at the machine from the side that much anyway. Use a black marker, yeah, or put electrical tape around it. I'm not too worried about it, I don't really care. It'll be a splash of color from the side. 'Tis what it is. Okay. Need 2 more heat inserts in these for the front, or for the bottom panel mounts that I had to include into them. Where'd I put? Oh, here they are. Behind me. Bottom panel mounts. Screw holes. Yeah. In you go. Great. And now our skirts, my front skirts can go on. But I also have somewhere here. There it is. This one, I put a hole in for a USB pass-through. Maker Viking, welcome in. For a USB connection. Why does that seem to be such a loose fit? This is literally the exact same part. Whew, that is like a floppy loose fit. Why? Did I fuck up the design? Sure seems like I did. How? It's the exact same design that I've used in the previous skirt. I literally cut the one out of the old skirt. Oh, weird. One way it's a super loose fit, the other way it fits tight. That doesn't make any sense. Whatever, it's in there. 15, 20 days shipping. Yeah, China. China, unfortunately. Especially holiday season right now. Especially with the holiday season, that kind of makes sense. Okay, so this goes here. I'm gonna feed the USB cable kind of through. Cool. That sits on the front there. And a couple screws to mount this to here. gotta loosen that up and slide it over just a bit. Ooh, okay. Ah. All right. There's a little difference in depth, protrusion depth. This skirt is like a millimeter in from my, what's that USB for? Okay. The reason for this front panel USB is twofold. One, time lapses. So when I'm doing a time lapse with my good camera, it connects to clipper through USB. And it sends a USB signal to trigger the camera to take a shot. So G-Photo is the time lapse protocol thing that I use. Dang it, there's supposed to be a insert in there. Oh well, I'll have to pull this back off, put that in later. I didn't print it yet. So that's one thing I use it for. The other thing is the tool board on the tool head sometimes needs firmware updates. And you can firmware update it over CAN on the CAN configuration. I don't know about the new USB setup, whether or not you should be able to firmware update it through the RPi connection to the USB, but that's not necessarily a given. But anyway, for updating things like that, I can plug a USB cable into that, plug it into the tool board, and do a firmware update through that. So that's what I've used it for in the past. I like having it, if nothing else, just for the camera connection. It's really great. So I can always hook up like a cheap webcam or something to it and position it in a different location. I like having options. I like having USB accessible to me so I can use it if I need. All right, other skirt goes on here. And I will turn the machine a little bit. We can take a look at it. That one's pretty flush to the end. This one's not quite. Move it so it is flush to the end. All right. Huh. This one doesn't protrude less. That's weird. Interesting. Okay. The EBB can only update through the cable if it doesn't have a sub port on it, just the cable itself, a USB port. I just never bothered. When I updated the CAN board, I always just plugged in with USB-C. Like, it's supposed to be able to update through firmware, or through the CAN connection with, what's it called? It was called one thing, now it's called something else, I forget. Forget what the firmware nonsense thing. CAN boot. With CAN boot, it's supposed to be able to, but honestly, I never bothered. I did it through USB. They took the USB-C off of it. On what, a newer revision? Catapult. Okay, yeah, it's called Catapult now. Right. Yeah. How do you like your LTT screwdriver? 1 second. Let me tell you how I like my LTT screwdriver. I can answer that quite simply. Here's how I like my LTT screwdriver. Yeah, I like it a lot. So I got 3 of them. That's how much. So yes, no, I very much like the LTT screwdriver. I bought 2 of those. 2 of those I bought. I bought the original one, and then I actually just got the Noctool one. On their Black Friday deal, they had a mystery one that was 50% off, like $39.99 for the screwdriver, and I got a Noctool one. So What I mean is the EBB 2209 USB only has USB power and data cable, no USB-C on the board. Okay. Okay, yeah, I hadn't even really looked at it yet. Collect them all, yeah. I mean, I do want to collect more. Does it not have a USB port? That's weird. Yeah, you're right. There's no USB-C port. Okay. Well, so it has to update through there. I'll just use the USB that I like for, excuse me, time lapses. Yeah. No, like, legitimately, I like having, looks more like chocolate, yeah. I like having different ones, because, like, the original one I use for, like, Phillips and flatheads. I have that loaded up with, like, your general Phillips flathead bits. The purple one is my metric one, so it's all metric hex in this one. This is the one I use for 3D printer builds, obviously. And then the new Noctua one, I loaded up with all Torx. Torx is becoming a little more common on printers, so I loaded this up with all Torx bits. I want to get at least one more for standard hex. Load up another one with standard hex. Okay. Should have had you got me a LTC screwdriver. Shipping makes it $106. Oof, yeah. Do you use a built-in resonance tester or standalone? I use the built-in. I do use the built-in one on the toolhead just because it's easy. I will be able to now use the beacon one with this, so it'll be closer to the nozzle. So I will use beacon to resonance tune this one, except I have before charts for this machine. So before the CNC upgrade, those were collected using the tool board sensor. So I will be using the tool board sensor one when we're done this so that they are apples to apples. All right, let's raise the gantry up a little bit as I bump my microphone into the machine. All right, cool. How do you folks deal with freedom and heck and metric? I don't know, just do. It's a fact of life for us, so it's not really a thought, you know. It's kind of just how it is. I rarely use standard hex is the main reason I haven't gotten another screwdriver yet, because I couldn't tell you the last time I used standard hex. It's been a while. I might have call for it in the near future, but yeah. So don't do that. Wow. I just wipe my hands down with alcohol and then rub my nose with my hand. Okay. We've got our Z-axis on. Got the new skirts. Let's take a closer look at the new skirts. I'll just show you quick. I'm gonna like boring zoom this quick. Whoop. There's the new skirts. So yeah, these protrude 20 millimeters off the front of the frame, so the fridge door will sit flush to these now, because the fridge door uses a 2020 extrusion frame around the front of the machine. And yeah, there's some logos that go into here yet. I have to print them, I forgot to. So logos will go in here and the other side. They're based off like Trident skirts. I closed in all the front holes. I put that USB port in it. I closed in all the front holes because I like to promote airflow across the electronics box, and I don't care for the open hex in the front. I feel like it lets air out that should be traveling across the electronics box to cool the electronics box. So, yep. Okay, what's left? I mean, there's plenty left, but I'm wondering what else we can get done on this stream. Refit this to the screen. Fit to screen. Boop, there we go. Okay, carriage. I need the toolhead carriage plate. Where is it? Is the question. Where is the carriage plate that's going on this? It's getting a Vitali carriage. I know I have it around here. Question is where? I thought I put it with the parts for the build, but I didn't see it when I looked the other day. So, double check. I know I've seen it recently. Just where? Where? I don't know. All right, 1 second. I'm gonna look for the carriage where the printer was. No, that would make way too much sense. That would make far too much sense if it was with the parts for this machine. Maybe I put it in this box full of Voron parts. Would also make sense. Nope, that's Physec parts. Where is the Vitali carriage? I've got a couple of them. Where'd they go? That one was always going to be a 9mm build, so... Sorry folks, just trying to find this carriage quick. If I can't find it, I'm going to have to move on. I wanted to try and get that on and belted yet today, but I'm not seeing it. So I don't think that's happening. Yep. Alright, well, I don't see it. I don't know where the Vitali carriage is, so I can't put that on. I'm also getting a little lightheaded. I need to go eat something. So I think we might have to wrap it up. We're a little over 3.5 hours into the stream, and I do believe that's where we're going to have to call it for today. So we've got that frickin', that's working nicely. Cool. We've got the Z-axis in here. The Gantry's in here. We've got nice re-greased rails, a new X rail. Last stream I put in a new X rail with a lightened Physec rail. We've got our CNC corner Z-axis drives now. We got our new skirts on there to match the fridge door that's going on here. And yeah, I think that's about where we're at. We got Z-axis lubricated. We got Y-axis re-lubricated and cleaned. So the rebuild portion of things is going really well. And next stream we'll get belted and work on the tool head. You know what? That's going to give me time to... It's good anyway. That'll give me time to get the double check, triple check the parts that I need for the tool head. And the new board that's going in here, I think I might need to reprint some parts. So it'll give me a chance to figure that out, print the parts I need, and come back ready to roll. So, thank you for coming around, folks. It's been another lovely stream. Thanks for hanging out with me while I got some work done here. And let me reposition camera 2 so we can get the outro done properly, as we're supposed to. You know, the proper way. The proper Mandic Lab outro. Reposition camera a little bit more. Gene. All right, folks, that's where we're going to wrap it up for this one. Still have laundry to fold. I'm sorry, I got to go do laundry too. Ruby comes home tomorrow. So, all right, folks, I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you for coming around, and I will see you